Welcome back to another edition of Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. We got a lot to get into, including some unfortunate news. Two and barbecue for Texas baseball. Yes, we'll talk about it. We'll wait to the next segment, though. We'll give my man Hard some time to at least get in the good mood first, talking about some other stories, and then we'll talk Texas baseball coming up next segment. Also, NFL news, notes, and nuggets. Some of the coaches in the NFL upset. They think the owners pulled the okie doke on them and changed the rules behind their back. We'll get into that. Also, Mahomes, actually, who we thought was going to reset the quarterback market. That may not happen. Patrick Mahomes talking about whether he wants to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. We'll get into that. Lamar Jackson talking about his new offense. He's excited. He's getting us excited. We'll get into that in NFL news, notes, and nuggets. And, of course, we'll preview the Eastern Conference Finals in the NBA. Miami versus Boston, Game 5. We'll dive deep into it. Before we do, let's introduce you to the rest of the crew. He was a second-round pick for the Montreal Expos, but a first-round pick for the Austin Radio Network. He originally committed to the University of Texas, but decided to forego the 40 acres and chase his dream in the cheese. Pimpin' ain't easy, but for this man, it's a breeze. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Hardball Hard. What's going on, brother?
Man, tough day around the 40 acres when it comes to the baseball team, but, you know, there is hope. There is moving on. You get a chance to play in another week. But, boy, oh, boy, like you said, two in barbecue is never a good look. But let me talk about my man that sits across from me every day. He hails from H-Town with the Get Down. He's a lifetime Longhorn and a proud card-carrying member of DBU. Legendary lifetime and now College Football Hall of Fame Longhorn Derek Johnson said he was the best cover corner he had ever seen. He's a former NFL DB that still has that passion for film study, but he's not a fan of white condiments. But, of course, he is a fan of you, the listeners. He is my man and yours, Rod Babels.
I appreciate that intro as always. Let's not waste any time introducing the real MVP, one of the hardest working members of the ARN family. He's got a hustle spirit, period. We don't know what he's paid, but we're pretty sure that he's underpaid, and also celebrating the birthday today.
Yay.
It's Patrick Davis, y'all. What's going on, Patrick?
Oh, you know, just having another day of just a little birthday fun.
There it is. There it is. Give
Now
some love to our man on the Specs text line, 512-337-3776.
What are the plans for the B-Day?
I'm going to a concert after the show tonight,
All right.
and then have a little get-together with some friends on Saturday.
Okay.
I love
there you
it.
go.
I love it.
All weekend long celebration.
I mean,
Is the official birthday today, or are you
the official birthday is today.
Okay, but you don't celebrate all weekend long.
Yeah, well, you
I
know,
agree.
it's
Gotta
easier
make
to
it a
hang out
month.
on
Make it a
Saturday.
month.
Saturday, you know, you can get out, you can start a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
I like
we
it.
don't get off till 7, so then you're starting a little bit later, and then we got to work tomorrow, so it's, you know.
Yeah, yeah, that's because of Texas baseball, actually. It's their fault. We actually have to work tomorrow,
Yeah,
so
it is.
blame them.
Yeah.
What's the official age? Do you mind revealing?
39.
Ooh, that's what
One
I remember.
step
though.
closer.
Yeah, you one step closer.
One step closer.
That is. I'll let you reflect on that. But happy B-Day, Patrick.
Thank you.
Really happy for you, man. All right, Specs text line is, as my man Harge mentioned. You can also use the Twitterverse as well. Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. Patrick Davis at It's Patrick Davis. And I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. All right, but we won't talk Texas baseball here. We'll do that coming up next segment and break it down a little bit more and get Harge's thoughts. I just got one question for you, Harge, though. Do we need a panic button?
Yeah, we need to start like moving a little bit, man. I mean, your boy,
We
your
asked that
boy.
question earlier. We didn't need one.
We did not.
Okay.
We did not, and
All
it's
right.
just we'll talk about it
Okay.
at
All right.
3:30.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
we'll talk about it there.
Wow. All right. So I expected you to say, no, we don't need
It's
one.
just
And you
that
hesitated.
frustration.
That's like when you ask your friend, he's trying to fix you up with somebody, and you ask her, is she hot? And you say, listen, man. And he's like, well, no, I don't
She
listen
look
about
like
it.
she look
Listen
like
is not a response.
She look
Is
like
hot?
Janet Jackson.
Well, look like Freddie Jackson. Yeah, that's not a response. But yeah, so we'll get into it. We'll talk Texas baseball for a lot of those, of course, disappointed Texas baseball fans out there, too, and barbecue. All right, we'll get to that coming up next. We'll also get to previewing the Eastern Conference Finals tonight, Game 5, Boston versus Miami. That is in Boston. We'll get to that, too. But a lot of random NFL stories out there. So I want to get to some of these NFL stories because apparently the coaches of the NFL are a little upset.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for those who don't know, the NFL, they have like these annual meetings And they have a spring meeting, which and then they have their meeting that's going on right now too. They have a meeting right now in May. They have one also in March, as well. The one in March, and they by the way, they can vote on different changes with the rules, and they can propose different changes with the rules during these times. But of course, the owners have to vote on it, and you have to get that to change the rules. You have to get at least, I believe, 8 of the owners. All right, at least 8 of the owners on the same page to be able to try to change something. So it's one of those things where in March, apparently they threw out the idea of and I say to oppose something, I should say, you need 80, because you need 3/4 of the majority vote of the owners to pass something. So you would need 8 owners to oppose it for it to be able to stop it from passing.
Right.
So that's basically what I meant to say. But anyway, so in March, they proposed a lot of these rule changes. And when they have the meeting in March, everybody's invited. GMs, executives, coaches, everybody goes. These meetings that are happening now are owners' meetings. There are OTAs going on right now,
Right.
so coaches are at OTAs.
Yeah, they're not there.
All right,
for
they're
that.
not
Yeah.
there for these meetings. I imagine maybe they are invited, but why would they be there when they have to, coach the actual team? So OTAs and stuff are starting on right now. And this is when they voted on the new fair catch rule. They voted on it in the owners only meeting. Because at the March meeting, when the owners proposed this rule change, the coaches vehemently opposed it. And most of them, the majority of the coaches opposed it. And the coaches probably can get GMs on their side, and then GMs can try to get some owners on their side. Just throw it up the chain of command. And the owners, after the March meetings, after they kind of tested the waters, threw out a trial balloon test among the decision makers in the NFL, coaches, executives, and owners, about this fair catch rule change, they didn't like the response. So their retort to that response was, we're going to do more research on this. We're going to do more research. We'll get more data, and then we'll come back to the table
Right.
in May, and then we'll discuss it more. Well, essentially what they did was they claim they do have the data. They have said they have the data. But they basically changed the rules when the coaches would be busy at OTAs.
Absolutely.
And wouldn't be able to vehemently oppose it and try to win the GMs over and some other executives over on their side. And they passed it. Now, it's a 1-year rule change, which is that basically where you can fair catch the kickoff return anywhere inside the 25. As long as you fair catch it, it goes to the 25.
Yeah.
It's basically the college rule.
The thing about it is, for me, is why do you have to wait for this to happen where the coaches aren't there? Because they are the ones that are on a competition committee. Those are the ones that really understand what it's about. Even though there's been a lot of times they've come up with these rules and we've all looked at each other and I was like, what? What rule is this? What rule is that? Well, you sitting here and talking about this rule, and this is another one that now you're changing the way the game can possibly be played.
Yep.
And there's so many things that are happening within those situations. And we talked a little bit about it yesterday, but this limits that opportunity for you to make a big play either offensively or defensively when you're dealing with the punt return.
The kickoff return.
Yeah, the kickoff return, excuse me.
John Harbaugh, who is one of the only coaches in the NFL as a head coach who started out basically as a special teams coach.
He was a special teams guy.
That's most of his background. He says here that the fair catch rule, we had a chance to weigh in on that with all the special teams coaches. We had a long talk and discussion about that. We weren't for it. We voted against it.
Right.
We think it's going to create more high-speed head trauma than not having it in there. That's our position on it. I don't know. He didn't really explain that, but we'll see. They want to give it a shot and take a look at it. And he didn't explain why he thinks the rule will create more high-speed trauma. I would like to actually hear that. He didn't explain that. The owners essentially believe this is going to take kick returns. It's going to decrease them even more.
That's going to be
It's
out of
going to
there.
take them out of the game, and they're essentially shadow banning the kickoff return. They don't want to actually do it, but they're essentially doing it. John Harbaugh wasn't the only coach who came out recently, now that they're at OTAs, that spoke with the media, came out against it. Dan Campbell, you expect Dan Campbell to be against it.
Well, he was another guy that was a special teams guy because
Yeah,
he was
that's
that
true. Good
other
point.
tight end.
Your point. Yeah, you
And
have to
then
make-
he had
make
to
your
try to
money
make
there.
the team.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Hey, Rod B, trust me.
Rod B.
wouldn't be able to make teams
Yeah.
this day and age. It'd be much tougher for Rod B to stay on. Here's the Detroit Lions head coach Dan Campbell talking about his opposition to the new rule change.
Yeah, highly frustrating. It's very frustrating. But look, I don't make the rules, and so that's a new rule, and then we'll live by the new rule. We'll find a way to adjust, adapt, and still get what we want. You know, that's what you got to do. But you know, I hate that we continue to take away from the game. That's what really worries me. You know, we continue to bleed this league. You know, if we're not careful, it won't replenish at one point. But listen, it's the rules, and we'll make do and we'll adjust.
All right, Dan Campbell, him talking about his feelings about the new rule change. Andy Reid also went on the record and was asked about the rule change. Here is Andy Reid's thoughts on that rule change.
I don't know. We'll have to go through all that. My thing is, where does it stop, right? So you start taking pieces, and we'll see how this goes. But you don't want to take too many pieces away, or you'll be playing flag football.
So the coaches don't like it. I actually don't have a problem with it. Maybe because I'm kind of desensitized to what I know what the NFL is trying to do. Right. The NFL ultimately doesn't want this play. They don't want this play, the kickoff, in the game anymore. They don't like it. They think it has more. And I've said this before. They believe the kickoff is more of a kickoff and kickoff return is more of a burden than a benefit. It's like the penny. I don't know why the hell we still print the penny, but produce it, but we do. It costs more to produce it than it actually is worth, but it's the penny or the payphone. Hell, or the yellow pages, whatever you want to say. Printed porn, you can throw it in the conversation too. It's more of a burden than it is a benefit. Doesn't really do much benefit to the NFL in a league where they're now about points. They're selling quarterbacks. They're selling fantasy football. They're selling scoring. They're not really selling violence anymore in the game, and that's the most violent play in football, and that's what it's all about. Mm-hmm. And they've said it's still where most of the injuries occur. The kickoffs account for 6% of all the plays, 12% of all the concussions, and 18% of all the injuries. So they want it out, but they can't say that, and then the game would look so weird. So now it's almost just ceremonial. The touchback. It's a ceremonial play.
Yeah, it's part of the game, and it's like,
yeah.
All right, we're going out to the 25.
And they love
35.
the commercial break.
Yeah,
let's admit the commercial break it's key for them.
Right.
They could just take the commercial break, but it makes it. I don't know. It was aesthetically pleasing, and we're just accustomed to it. They probably should. I don't know why they don't. They probably should take the XFL's kickoff return strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people will remember it, the latest XFL one, because the latest XFL kickoff return or kickoff strategy has a 90% return rate. And the average starting field position is at the 31. The NFL is at the 28 when there's a kickoff return, and 0 injuries in 2020. Now I got to go look at the latest data, but it works. That kickoff return actually worked. I think they should try to pursue it. The NFL stolen a lot of stuff, borrowed, whatever, from the XFL.
Whatever it takes. Yeah.
Skycam. They incentivized the 2-point conversion. The XFL was all about that. They had the 1, 2, and 3-point options, discouraging extra points. I mean, the NFL can do it. I don't know why they've been kind of stubborn about it. That's a perfect solution.
Well, if you got,
issue.
I was going to say, if you're going to be able to change the rules anyway, and you're doing it 1 year at a time, why not throw something out there, see what happens? Remember, I think you talked about this the other day, the catch rule. How many times has that thing changed? Mm-hmm. What's a catch? What's not a catch? Oh, he caught it. No, he didn't. Oh, we don't even know anymore. Mm-mm. Now you're looking at it and you're trying to figure out, okay, what's the next move? So if you're going to throw it out there and have this 1 year and see what the results are, because what you said too, they have the data somewhere.
They got it.
They haven't shown it to everybody because these coaches are still upset because if they had the data as all the analytics that everybody's dealing with every single day, they would understand it a little bit more. But obviously they are still in the benefit part of it. Harbaugh and Campbell both being special teams guy, and I'm sure some of these other guys too. Think about the coaching staffs that now you're about to change up. Think about some of these other players on this roster that are now not going to be as valuable because – hey, we don't even have special teams anymore. So the things that you were participating in now, you may not be able to play in it. You might be a XFL. You might be a USFL player now.
Text was saying, what is the new rule? The new rule is basically anytime it's kind of the college rule, basically. Anytime the football is caught on the kickoff return inside the 25-yard line, it goes to the 25. Automatic touchback right to the 25.
That's when you see them do the arms out. When they kick it out there, they put their arms out. That means I'm not even trying to run this back.
Yeah. So I don't. The coaches are. I'm surprised. And John Mara, famously also the owner of the Giants, he's upset about it too. So there's at least one owner that's upset about it, but a lot of coaches coming out today saying they don't like it. I understand exactly what the NFL wants to do. The NFL, listen, football is just going to look really different, and the kicking game is probably not going to be a big part of the game. Just the kickoff return, I should say, and extra point. They don't say it. They want the extra point out too. Right. They want to shadow ban it pretty much. They want the extra point to be something that's rare and teams going for 2-point conversions more. They have done it. That's why they moved the 2-point conversion. They want to incentivize teams to go for 2 and discourage teams from the extra point. Extra point is not automatic like it used to be, right? The numbers are dropping. The conversion rate of 2-point conversions is rising. The conversion rate of extra points is dropping. That's what the NFL wants. So they want some genius out there to go to the Super Bowl basically going for 2 points more than they ever go for extra points. And then the NFL, a copycat league, will copy that. That's the model the NFL wants. They want to phase out the kicking game. They just know the blowback will be what it is now. I mean, you got coaches already coming out. Most fans don't even know what the hell the rule is. Yep. See, the NFL knows that. They're like, man, fans don't give a damn about that.
Right.
They know fans don't care about that little rule change. Fans just want to see points. They want to see their team have a great quarterback, and they want their fantasy football team to be doing well. That's what y'all care about.
That's it. There's no loyalties anymore to this. Yeah.
You don't care about defense and
I
special
need
teams.
my special teams points on my fantasy,
on your fantasy team.
Yeah.
That's Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
That's what you're worried about.
That's always one of my draft picks.
Yeah, but they don't care. Last time we had a great Super Bowl that was a defensive struggle, people complained about the damn thing the whole week. I remember the Rams and the Patriots, people complained about it. I was like, oh, it's a great defensive struggle. People, that was a terrible Super Bowl. Oh, man, it was terrible. That was one of the worst Super Bowls I've ever seen. I was like, it was just a great defensive game plan on both parts.
Yep.
People don't care about that.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
I did because I won all them quarters because nobody was getting there. My points was hidden.
Exactly. But I'm with you. It's going to change the game, I think, fundamentally. That's why the coaches are upset about it.
Yeah.
Let's get to this, the Patrick Mahomes sound, because I think actually it actually connects closer to home than the Lamar Jackson sound. The Lamar Jackson stuff is fascinating because Patrick Mahomes, everybody assumes that whenever he re-ups, he's going to be the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we all thought.
Yeah, he's going to reset the market.
Should.
And then he's going to take quarterbacks into, where are they now? Close to the $50 million range.
Mm-hmm.
So
what Aaron Rodgers was making 52, I believe, for this one season.
I mean, we expected Mahomes to go into the just the unprecedented stratosphere of annual pay for quarterbacks.
Right.
Well, he was asked about that recently at OTAs. He was asked about whether, first of all, I think the first question is he talking and are they negotiating his new contract? He answers that. And then remember, after he answers that, they ask him another question. If you can't hear the question essentially is, the second one is, do you want to be the highest paid quarterback in the league? Like, does that matter to you? And here is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I mean, I always keep, me and my agent and the team always keep open communication. And we try to do whatever is the best for the team, but obviously I want to do the best for myself as well. But at the same time, I've always said I worry about legacy and winning rings more than making money at this moment. But I know we keep communication. We see what's going on around the league. But at the same time, I'll never do anything that's going to hurt us from keeping the great players around me. So it's kind of teetering around that line.
So you're not driven to be the highest paid quarterback average per year. That's not.
No. It's kind of it's more of a you just want to do whatever to not hurt other quarterbacks whenever their contracts come up. You want to kind of keep the bar pushing, and so it's not about being the highest paid guy. It's not about making a ton of money. I've made enough money where I'll be set for the rest of my life. But at the same time, you got to find that line where you're making a good amount of money, but you're still keeping a lot of great players around you so you can win these Super Bowls and you're able to compete in these games.
Man, that's scary. Damn.
Yeah.
One of your only hopes the rest of the NFL was that he was going to be, just have a little more pride.
Be greedy.
And be a little more greedy, have a little more pride. And go,
greedy.
no. I need to always be the guy. I am the best
Exactly.
quarterback in the league. I'm on my way to being the GOAT.
like it.
Best start to a career in the history of the NFL. It's fair to say I should be the highest paid player in the league. We all agree. And everybody go, yes, we agree.
Right.
No, he's not going that route. He's going Tom Brady, Tim Duncan, where giving discounts. No, long as y'all are fair to me, I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
He's that kind of guy. Damn it.
I want to win. I want winners.
Damn it.
What do you say? I've got enough money that I am good for the rest of my life, but I want to make sure I don't mess the market up for others. That's a huge part of it. That's it.
That's that baseball thing.
There it is.
This is Pops probably told him that. Hey, bro, you have to be competitive.
Exactly.
In your salary,
because of you, of who you are as a quarterback. People are going to want to play with Patrick Mahomes. And you have a coach like Andy Reid. Maybe late in your career, you can chase the money. Right now, he is like, boom, let's keep this thing going. I'm ready to continue to win. I want to do it now. And I'm going to make sure everybody else get paid.
I wish he tell him to go watch the movie Wall Street. All right? Greed is good. Patrick Mahomes, greed. Go watch that speech, man.
He's
greed
like, I'm
is
investing my money into everything, so I'm doing all right.
That is so upsetting.
Yeah.
That he is willing to give the discount because now they're just going to be able to keep building. Guys, they had the record this year for one of, I would say, not the record. They were top 5, I believe, in like the last 15, 20 years in rookie starts for a team that made the Super Bowl.
Correct.
That's what I should say.
Yeah.
And
it ain't over.
I know.
What did Marcus Peters say when he went up to the podium? He said, "We ain't done yet."
No.
That's it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay, so one more other piece of sound here from Lamar Jackson before we get done, and we'll move on and talk Texas baseball next segment. Okay, so Lamar Jackson is at OTAs too. By the way, Lamar Jackson usually doesn't come to these.
Nope. He's like Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, he has very much been like they usually doesn't come to these. This is not his thing, but he's there. New offensive coordinator in Todd Monken, one of the 16. Yeah, half the damn league has new OCs this year. He's one of those. And Lamar Jackson was asked about the offense. And everybody's interested to see what this offense is going to be. Here is Lamar Jackson making some statements about what the new offense with Todd Monken as the new offensive coordinator is going to look like with Lamar Jackson.
I mean, just being able to throw the ball down the field. We sometimes, we can't. Running can only take you so far, and I feel like with this new era of teams and offenses in the league, I feel like we need that, and Coach Todd Monken, what I'm seeing his offense so far is looking tremendous.
Do you feel like you won't have to run as much, and that'll maybe be scaled back a little bit?
Absolutely, especially with the receivers we have. Bade, OBJ, Zay, Duve, Pro, all those guys. You got Isaiah, the tight end. I can't say Zay. Isaiah, the tight end. Mark, my guy.
All right.
Yeah.
So he's basically saying they're going to run less and throw more.
Hey.
Especially for him at the quarterback position. And keep in mind, nobody's had more quarterback runs in their system, in their offensively, their scheme than the Ravens. And makes sense in the last 4 years. They were, if you look at quarterback rushes under Greg Roman, they were third, first, and first.
Right.
Since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
They still probably will be somewhere close to that, but he's saying they're gonna throw it a lot more and they're gonna run it less. I like that, and also he remarked in some other comments, quote, "You can change things when you want to." Basis what Coach Monken told me. You see
Right.
the defense, and it's not looking right to you. You see some guys blitzing. You might want your wide receiver to do something different. Coach is giving you the free will to do whatever you want to. So he's gonna have more control
It's
over
about
the offense too.
time. It's about time. I mean, this is an MVP. This is a guy that has seen it, and we've talked about it before. There always has to be an evolution for whatever team that you're on, whether at the quarterback position. We've talked about it with Quinn Ewers here. We've talked about it with Dak Prescott. We're talking about it with Lamar Jackson. But we also know there's a time when you're used to hearing the same voice over and over and over again, which is why they got the change in Dallas, which is why they got the change here in Baltimore. He needs to evolve as that player because the hate that they have, it don't even matter to him about the hate. What he's looking at is how can we win and how can I be better at my craft? Exactly. And that's why they brought this guy in.
Yeah, no, I think I like the combination. I do think it's going to work out. First of all, as long as Lamar Jackson is healthy, I don't think he can work in I think he'd work in a lot of offense. I know people don't believe that. It's so strange that he came from a pro-style offense in college, won the Heisman in a pro-style offense famously, and yet the big knock on him was that we don't think he can play in a pro-style offense. And it's like, what he won the Heisman is a pro-style offense that he was in. I know. Yeah, it's not a good talking point. But
because all y'all, the ones that y'all were looking at was his exciting runs. Y'all weren't looking at him throwing the ball 65 yards in the air on the money to his wide receivers. But yeah, I agree with you, dog.
It's crazy. And yeah, I mean, and in the NFL, when you look, I mean, he wins the MVP award, and it was like unanimous.
Hello.
A unanimous award winner, and yet there's still, I don't know, it's just still a lot of hatred about his game and his overall skill set. But I do think this year they actually, I think there is a intentional, deliberate movement by the Ravens. They want to showcase him as a passer. Let people know, no, he's a franchise quarterback, and we know he's the most explosive athlete to ever play the quarterback position. But he actually can be a pocket passer. I think they're going to show it off this year. And
I've always thought he could be a pocket passer, but that wasn't his offense that the coordinator was calling.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I've
saying.
always been mad at that. Going back to your point, it's like, what did people really not see? Like, what were they really searching for to knock him? Just say he didn't win big playoff games. Just say that. Don't bring up any of the other stuff because you obviously didn't pay attention to him before. So just say, hey, he's not good. We don't want to pay him the money because he hadn't won big games. Say that.
Oh, you don't like running quarterbacks because of the risk of injury, and that's something that
he runs way too much. Okay, say that.
Yeah.
Don't say he's not a quote-unquote pocket passer. Who is? Everybody gets out of the pocket
these days.
Everybody's running for their life
these days. You got functional mobility is now a basic requirement.
Absolutely.
That's on the base model of quarterback these days. It used to be like, oh man, he can move around. That's some added value in his skill set. It's like now functional mobility.
It's a must.
You get that on the basic model,
right? We didn't even give you all the bells and whistles.
Yeah, exactly. You get that on your just basic model quarterback. They all can move around now. The statues in the pocket. That's a done era of quarterbacking. All right, we'll come back. We'll get into Texas baseball. We've avoided it long enough. They drop the game to K-State, and that means Two and Barbecue. They are done for the Big 12 tourney. We'll get my man Harge's thoughts on it and talk about what is next for Texas baseball right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Well, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a new Theme Thursday edition of Ball Don't Lie. That's from my man Patrick, who is celebrating a birthday today. So you want to wish Patrick a happy birthday, you can do so on the Specs text line, 512-337-3776. But also, he is our Idealionaire on the show. He's the one that comes up with all of our musically themed days of the week. And on New Theme Thursday, he takes jams that are supposed to give Harge and I clues that lead us to the new theme of the day. And I have a feeling that it's a tribute.
Yes.
To Tina Turner?
It is.
There you go. Boom. It's a movie. What's the got to do? What's the movie? Just the new theme. Just the theme of
Tina Turner.
Any Tina Turner songs? Yeah. I love it. All right. I love it. Fantastic. We all know it.
I like it.
R.I.P. to Tina Turner. Passed away yesterday. 83?
Mm-hmm.
83 years old?
Yeah.
So, R.I.P. She was a legend, an icon. And she actually had one of the greatest reinventions in her career, too. Because with Ike, Tina Turner was a different artist altogether. And when she left Ike and emancipated herself from his abuse, she transformed into like a rock star.
Yep.
And she wasn't rock and roll. She was they were like R&B. It's like early R&B stuff with Ike Turner, and she became like a rock legend. So she basically kind of was, one of the forces in music in two different genres.
Yeah. She was definitely something special, and she's known for her legs, bro. The legs were what a lot of people always went to when they were talking about it. She was like, "Oh, she's got great legs."
They were insured for millions, I believe.
Yes,
I don't know the exact number, but I do remember
she could shake that thing when she was over there.
Yeah, they were so damn valuable that.
No doubt.
All right, so thanks to Patrick, and happy birthday to my man Patrick as well. So I wish him a happy birthday. You can do it also via the Twitterverse if you don't want to do it on the Specs text line. You can do it via Twitter. He's at It's Patrick Davis. Harge at Hardball Harge, and I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. All right, Harge, we've avoided it long enough.
I mean, we can't keep avoiding it.
No, because it's staring us right in the face.
Yeah, it is.
The 2 and barbecue for Texas baseball. I asked you at the beginning of the season after a 4-7 start, and then like that 0-3 at the beginning there too. I asked you, did they need a panic button, and you said no. Confidently.
Very much so.
Said no panic button, don't need that at all.
None.
Well, now we're at the end of the season, at the end of the Big 12 tournament. I'll ask you again, should Texas baseball fans be looking for a panic button?
They definitely need to dust it off.
Dust it off?
Dust it off.
What?
Let me tell you why I believe that, because of the performance that we saw this week. It wasn't necessarily about the pitching. It was more about the lack of execution at the plate. I mean, they had bad at-bats, after at-bat, after at-bat. And I don't know, I mean, sometimes you're not ready to go, but when you've told us, this is going from what you were talking about, is we have our goals on 5 championships. Mm-hmm. They got the first one when they got a share of the Big 12 tournament.
Impressive.
The Big 12 regular season. That
was impressive.
So now you're going into the tournament, and you have the opportunity of putting yourself in a host position.
That's the key right there. That's disappointing.
That is the very disappointing. And you got beat by both teams from the state of Kansas. And you had the upper hand. Now, we can go back and look at the run that they went on and what they did to get to the championship. But you sit here and you say the job's not done, and how dialed in are you going to be? Because I don't care how good your reputation is as the University of Texas, when you go on the road to a place where people don't know you and you had a chance to play at your friendly confines and you couldn't dial it in for another weekend, that's a problem.
2 opportunities.
2 opportunities. Yeah. Because you could have worked your way back through the loser's bracket, which we've seen you do multiple times. But for you to go up there as the Big 12 champion, and you had the opportunity to secure yourself as a host, and you fumbled the bag, that's on you. So, yes, I think execution-wise, that is something that I'm a little bit worried about. If you look at today's game, K-State, who, by the way, got walloped yesterday by TCU. They got run.
So I thought, okay, this is a perfect matchup for Texas coming off of a down game versus Kansas.
With your ace on the mound too, going up against their ace. So then you bring in LBJ, who I'm a big fan of, missing a couple pitches. And when I was in the car earlier today, I heard Roger Wallace. By the way, great job by Craig Way and Roger Wallace, as always. But I heard Roger Wallace saying, man, these are some real healthy swings by K-State. And because I was listening in the car when I was driving before I got a chance to watch it, and I could hear the foul balls. I could hear the ping of the bat with that great field mic that they have. And I was like, man, that's a different sound. They don't sound like ours because we weren't hitting the ball hard. We weren't hitting the ball square. They were hitting the ball square. Texas, I believe, struck out 12 times today.
Could it have been the environment?
It's
I hate to,
wait.
they're going to make excuses, of course.
They have not played well at the Gilf. Don't forget, they lost all 3 games at the very beginning of the year.
It could just be the environment.
Yeah.
Could it just be that place? They just don't play well there. And even I heard Coach Pierce yesterday.
But they played for the championship last year there. They ended up getting to the championship there.
That's fair.
Last year. So that's what I'm saying. Like, you have the task in front of you, and all you could ever want is your own destiny, right? You put yourself in a position. So, no, I didn't expect them to go there and win the entire thing. I thought they would be battling, but I didn't expect them to lose the first 2 games
Nobody did.
of the tournament.
You didn't expect the 1 seed to be the first team out.
Exactly. You didn't. Yeah, you play at 12:30 and then you play at 9, and that team played at 9 both days.
Yeah,
that you played, and they got crushed in one. And here you go, come out today, and they just didn't have any fight. It looked like
it just seemed like I heard Coach Pierce say it after the Kansas game and he said I'm not using it as an excuse, but he did remark about the environment there, and it felt like an exhibition. I think that was something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing.
Well, you finna be exhibition somewhere else because you didn't handle your business somewhere you could host.
Yeah, it feels like an exhibition. You're like, dude, why does that matter? It's the exact same for both teams.
Yep.
You can't.
Well, no, for it is, but the psychology is different for both teams. Even Harge brought this up. For Kansas, they had more of a desperation factor.
Yeah.
Texas came off a little high, sweeping West Virginia, getting a share of the Big 12 title. So they had more, as Coach Brown would say, sugar on their back. And Kansas came in with desperation at their back.
But isn't that your job as a coach
to
get them up for it? And then when you play an awful game on Wednesday, you go, hey man, y'all can't do that again. Like y'all looked awful. And then to come out on Thursday and look worse.
Yeah. Yeah, just
and then go, we weren't feeling it. You go, dude, you can't be a 1 seed and play that bad 2 games in a row.
You can't. It doesn't matter even if, because the texter says Longhorn history at Globe Life, 5-11 record, lost 6 in a row, 190 strikeouts in 16 games, an average of 11.87 per game. If those stats are right, and thank you, texter.
That's
appreciate
amazing.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great work there. That would give Longhorn fans a reason to avoid the panic button, or at least dust it off and go, listen, they just play really bad there. But the Kim Kardashian, Nicki Minaj, Serena Williams, Cardi B size, Megan Thee Stallion size, but that's not championship DNA though.
Right.
Championship DNA is man. I'm gonna have to go on the road and play. I got to go win games, and you want them to show that they have that in them. So that in the postseason, yes, of course, number 1 seed, as Patrick mentioned, going to in barbecue, that's disappointment. I guess if you want to blame the Gilf, you can blame the Gilf.
Yes.
I'm gonna blame the Gilf.
No, I'm not. I'm going out there and saying, God dog it, y'all playing on the same field. That's like I always used to say. People are like, man, that home run you hit was wind blown. And I'm like, didn't you play on this field too? I don't care how wind blown it is. My ball went out and yours did not. No. So that's how I look at it. It's like, man, when you have these opportunities, because for some of these guys, you don't know what the ending is for you. Like, you may not play baseball anymore.
Hey, and it's not probably a great sign to suck in an MLB park.
Right.
When they're scouting you, and then they go, hey, man, you know where you're really bad? At the parks we always play in. That's when you seem to be the worst.
Yeah.
That could be a problem. But, I don't think that's a huge fact, but I think it's,
No, but obviously, you want to feel better about it, the situation, and not freak out in the postseason. That gives you a reason not to. But yes, it is disappointing.
I will say there was one positive, which was Dylan Campbell kept the streak alive.
He tied the Big 12 record.
So at least something positive still happened in this.
Hey,
I guarantee
it was Jack O'Dowd yesterday.
Yeah, Jack O'Dowd
was balling out
dialed
yesterday.
in yesterday. And that's why he came up in a bunch of situations where he had runners in scoring position. He could have done some things at the plate, as well as Eric Kennedy had a couple times. Porter Brown had a few times. And early in the game, Texas had runners in scoring position and didn't execute it.
It could be one of these things where, because we've seen this in college basketball, I don't know about college baseball, where coaches will downplay the conference tournament in favor of getting ready for the big tournament, like the actual.
I could see how some, if you are like,
and I'm not saying I'm not saying conference. I'm just saying like during the week, like getting the guys ready. Even your demeanor changes, your attitude, because you have a different attitude about it. Like it don't matter.
Right. Well, here's the thing about it. In certain situations, yes, I could see where a coach would be like, all right, let's go out here and play hard, try to win the championship. But if we can rest our arms for a few days or something like that. But you can only do that if you're the top 5 teams in the nation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you've earned that right.
Yeah.
You've earned everything that goes with it. Like if LSU doesn't play well in the SEC tournament, they're not up against it. They've been the number 1 team all year. You know what I'm saying? And now Wake Forest is that. So when you watch Texas and you had the opportunity to lock in the host, because I don't care what nobody said, when you're the home team, it's a totally different feel. You have all the fans. It won't be an exhibition game. It's all about you.
It just didn't seem like they played with a sense of urgency.
No, they didn't.
But I'm saying you broke it down. That's a sense of urgency. That makes perfect sense. They just didn't play like that. And I wonder if there was something lost in translation where that sense of urgency wasn't instilled.
Right.
That hey guys, this is playoffs right now. We need it.
We
need it.
Yeah.
We can't afford one L.
No doubt.
We're done with that part of the season.
Yep.
And I just don't. They didn't play like that. So I just wonder what happened. Oh, real quick, let me ask you this: is it possible the Big 12 now does not have any team as a host team?
Absolutely. Because right now, Oklahoma State is battling right now. They got their top pitcher in the game right now. I don't know the exact score. I'm about to find out. We'll have it by the time we come back from break. But yeah, it's a rough look, man. It's a rough look.
So in the state of Texas, may only have Dallas
Baptist may be the only one.
Wow, that's rare.
Yeah,
that's rare.
Yeah.
All right.
It's rough, man.
That is rough. Rough conversation to have. All right. Well,
Oklahoma State just beat.
There you go.
Oklahoma State just beat West Virginia 3-2.
Oh, so the Big 12.
So they
Big
may
12
have
still
that,
got hope.
But maybe not the state of Texas. Yeah, it's rough.
All right, we'll come back. We'll talk about the state of Texas, the flex area specifically, right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. New theme Thursday. That's when the birthday boy. That's right. Happy birthday to my man Patrick. You can wish him a happy birthday as well on the Specs text line or via Twitter. That's when he takes songs, and based on the songs that are played, Harge and I are supposed to gather clues and hints that lead us to the new theme of the day. And, of course, as you can hear, the new theme paying tribute to one of the rock legends, Tina Turner, who passed away yesterday. So just seemed fitting, and I'm glad Patrick decided to do it. The new theme is just Tina Turner jams. Okay, so, man, how did you narrow this down? Was this tough for you?
I mean, kind of. It's a one, but I think there's enough that are like, okay, that's kind of an iconic. We got to play that one. You got to play that one.
Yeah, did you go for most well-known, or did you go for just trying to have representation over the expansive discography?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
A little bit of both. But yeah, it's there's probably 4 or 5 that you're like, okay, that you have to play. And so then it's just a couple others that you kind of throw in there. But
no, I like the way you started off with. What was that? The nut bush?
Nut bush, City Limits?
Yeah.
That's where she's from.
Yeah, so I'm saying it's always a weird chorus to me too. Ever since I was a kid, but it's one of those jams, one of the very iconic songs. You know, it's as soon as you hear it, you know it. And she does have one of those voices too, that immediately as soon as you hear it, you know it. So thanks, my man Patrick, working hard. New theme Thursday, paying tribute to Tina Turner, R.I.P. to Tina Turner. All right, get into the flex. FLXATX.com, FLXATX on all of your social media platforms. Go check out the podcast from yesterday's flex. Shout out to Nolan, did a great job. Shout out to the rest of the flex crew. It wasn't much of the flex crew. It was him and Cameron.
That's right.
Shout out to Cameron, who is known as the Colonel at times on the radios here. But Cameron Parker and Nolan Hogan did a great job. And they had a special guest, Hayes DB, Marcus Taylor, who we got a chance to meet too, is on with them. So you can go revisit that flex, the Wednesday night flex. Go revisit that at FLXATX.com. Also, up at the website, you can get details on the 7-on-7 tournament this weekend at Westwood that will be taking place.
Also, you can go to the podcast page as well as the front page, and you can catch the interview that we had with head coach JT Blair.
Nice.
They are getting ready to play Eagle Pass at 5 p.m. today. That Westlake is on the road. Rouse is getting ready to play Palmview. And, of course, you still have the women's softball with Georgetown softball still playing as well.
All right, there you go. Check out the Flex.
FLX. And Taylor Ducks. They're still playing as well. Shout out Taylor. That's
Ducks.
right. That's right.
All right, so go check out the Flex, FLXATX.com, FLXATX on all of your social media platforms. All right, we come back. We got to dive into the NBA, gentlemen. Eastern Conference Finals Game 5. The Boston Celtics found a way to keep hope alive. So we'll see if they can continue their winning ways. They're at home. Game 5 versus Miami. We'll talk about that and break it down right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie. Yeah, I had to let it go for a while. I apologize.
No need to apologize.
That intro, that's one of the greatest intros of a song I think I've heard. Obviously I've heard it before, but just saying it's one of the greatest intros, I should say, in music history. That's a great intro.
Yeah.
Oh,
iconic.
Man. Wow. Yeah, I don't think I have it in my phone, but I will have it in my phone by the end of the day.
Rolling.
And you know what? I guarantee you, I haven't looked on Apple and Music or anything, but I'm sure that her music downloads are through the roof right now because people are playing and going, damn, I forgot how good that song is. Damn, I forgot how good this song is. All right, so thanks, my man Patrick. New theme Thursday, of course, tribute to an icon, to a diva. R.I.P. to Tina Turner, passed away yesterday. Oh, man. How long is that intro total? And now we're about to.
I mean, the nice and easy part?
Yes.
Like 2 minutes.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. It's right up there with that, Papa was a Rolling Stone intro. That was a nice one, too. It's a great intro.
I like that.
I'm trying to think of all-time great intros that just took forever. It's like a song in itself. It's a separate intro, like a song by itself. War Pigs is kind of like that.
I was trying to say Metallica has one like that too.
Yeah, that's a few like that. It's just like, oh man, then the song kind of shifts, it changes on you mid-song.
Mystical does too.
This got one like that too.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. You got some walk-up music. He's a mystical guy.
Yeah, I'm a mystical guy.
Love that. All right, that got me going right there. So a great tribute. Shout out to my man Patrick. Also, Patrick's birthday, folks.
Patrick.
B-Day.
That's right.
Patrick officially getting older and wiser, also getting better. My man Patrick Davis celebrating a birthday today, so you can wish him a happy birthday on the Specs text line, 512-337-3776. You also can do it via Twitter. He's at It's Patrick Davis in the Twitterverse. Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse, and I'm at Rod Baby. So happy birthday to my man Patrick. We always appreciate him. We also, you know what? A blessing in disguise. Yes, it is. Texas baseball loses to K-State. That means they are done for now in the Big 12 tournament. We'll look forward to seeing what happens to them in the next round of the postseason for them. But that's the good news is because they lost, we're on tomorrow. If they had won, I believe we basically would have been off tomorrow.
We basically would have.
They would have been playing during the show.
Absolutely.
So we were.
And I would have went to the game.
Yeah, I was saying we were hoping that would have been the case.
Yes,
oh, yeah, because you had to go to D-Town anyway.
Yes.
Oh, they really messed your plans up.
They did.
That's brutal. And Patrick would have had a 4-day weekend for his B-Day.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
way to go, Longhorns.
Come on, Texas baseball.
Once again, the state of Kansas ruining everything.
Hey, ask Charlie Strong. They do that. They have a tendency to do that.
They do have a tendency.
Oh, man, that's brutal. Yep, so Texas baseball, the domino effect of that loss.
All have been affected.
Yeah, we continue to feel it. So, but happy birthday to my man Patrick. But we will be on tomorrow as well. All right, just want to throw it out there. Let's get into the NBA playoffs, gentlemen. We got the Eastern Conference Finals to get into. Boston forcing a Game 5, able to stave off elimination in Game 4, down 3-0 in that series. Oh, I got some good numbers for you guys. You guys are going to like this. How about this? Okay, some good numbers. There's some deep dive research. So, you know that of 150 teams that were down 3-0, we talked about this, how many teams were able to force a Game 5, and then a Game 7. You had only of those, so we talked about that, but here's some more research about it. Of the 150 teams that were down 3-0, 126 of them had a worse record than their opponents. So the team that was up 3-0, which is a better team, all right? They've proven that throughout the regular season they were a better team. The Celtics were 13 games better than the Miami Heat in the regular season. That is the largest differential for the teams who have been down 3-0 in NBA history.
13?
Yeah. They were 13 games better. Isn't that? Yeah, so yes, you are watching something unprecedented. And if they come back, that'll also be unprecedented because no team has ever come back down from a 3-0 deficit. We have seen teams force a Game 5. We've seen 44 teams force a Game 5, 11 teams force a Game 6, and 3 teams force a Game 7 out of those previous 150 teams. So there you go. Miami, how about this? Miami Heat had, you go look at it, they had a worse regular season record. I just brought that up. But of the 126 teams that I just talked about that were down 3-0, they had a worse record. Basically, the winning percentage is the winning percentage differential between Boston and between Miami Heat. Third biggest difference in winning percentage overall of teams that have been down 3-0. So it is something.
So you're saying there's not a chance, really?
No. I'm just saying that we haven't seen a team go down 3-0 that's been this much better than the team that has the lead in the series.
Right.
Like the Celtics are much better than the Miami. At least going off the regular season record, they were considered to be a much better team than the Miami Heat, and that is not playing out. We're not seeing that play out and materialize here in this series.
So
fascinating.
When I look at this team, and a friend of mine is very upset that I have kind of gone that way towards him because he and I had a wager. And he's a huge Miami Heat fan, and he's been talking about this team for quite some time and how he believes that they have the elements to really push for that title this year. And, a lot of that's Homer. We all looked at it. But when you watch them play, and I said this before, when you watch them play, there's so much unselfishness that sometimes is dangerous. And every once in a while, you need a guy like a Jimmy Butler or whoever's got it going that night. Bam Adebayo is the other guy that I really want to see do some more damage. Because remember early, he was trying to tear down the rim on a lot of those dunks. He wasn't doing that this last game. And maybe it was just because of the energy that the Celtics was playing with. And I know that the number of what you were talking about of how much better they are. But I think what we saw the other day was the guys saying, we're not going to be swept. We saw what LeBron got. We saw the smoke that he was taking. Let's not be a part of that. They dialed in because they were acting very cocky. You would have thought they were up 3-0. The way that they were celebrating after dunks and hitting threes. I was just like, my goodness. But tonight, it's over.
You think it's over?
No, it's over.
You think Jimmy hit me?
Hemi is at that
Playoff
point now.
Jimmy
Yeah.
gets it done tonight.
As y'all brought up yesterday, maybe he wanted to go to Boston to beat them.
Yeah, we had a texter bring up there like, hey, I think Jimmy's so sick-minded. He's like, he probably told the guys, because remember Patrick initially said they played so bad. It looked like they were trying to throw the second half of the game, and they did. I gave you the numbers.
Right.
It was unbelievable. They missed 12 of 18 shots in the fourth quarter. They missed 14 of 22 in the third quarter, and that's when the texter said, I think their theory was that Jimmy told the team, nah, guys, I want to win it in Boston.
Yeah,
I don't want to win
just
it
to
there.
rub it in.
Just to rub it in.
Just to rub it in.
He is that sick-minded.
Yes,
He's got
he
the
is.
competitive sickness, man.
I love it.
So I wouldn't doubt it. Okay, can I give you another number too? Because the 3-point percentage, guys, has really been fluctuating in this series, or at least it's flipped in this series in Game 4. You go look at it. Boston players made just 29% of their 3-pointers in the first 3 games. They hit 40% in Game 4. 18 of 45. 5 players making at least 3 3-pointers. And then Miami, who had been making, is it a crazy number? They have been making 47.8. Damn near 48% of their 3-point shots, guys.
Yeah.
And they ended up 8 of 32. Let me give you a historical number. So the Miami Heat hit over 50% of their 3-point shots in games 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Prior to this series, all right, only 13 teams had ever recorded over 50% 3-point shots on at least 20 attempts in a conference finals. And they did it twice.
Yeah.
They did it, guys. Isn't that crazy? That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that isn't really sustainable. Now, I don't know how much they're going to cool off or if they're going to get hot again. It's going to be really interesting if they just cannot replicate that 3-point shooting. What's going to happen going forward? I still think I'm going to put my money, my faith in playoff Jimmy Hemi. But if they can't get that 3-point shot working, guys, like they have. And think about it. This is with Tyler Herro, their best 3-point shooter, out.
Yes.
Like, how did that happen? There is no way to quantify how hot they are right now from 3-point land. We haven't seen it. They were 27th in the NBA in the regular season in 3-point percentage. And now they're hotter than they've ever been as a franchise in the playoffs.
It's
crazy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, but was it in Game 4? That wasn't the case. They cooled off significantly.
They froze up a little bit.
They've had it where a couple of guys have not had a great night on whatever night, but somebody else has stepped up, and it was just everybody had the bad night on the same night.
Mm-hmm.
So all you really need is like 2 or 3 of those guys to get hot. You don't need all 5 guys that can shoot threes to get really hot. But like if Duncan Robinson hits 50% of his threes and Strus hits 50% of his, then you're like, all right, we're pretty good. We're close now.
Yeah.
Because Jimmy's going to do a lot more of it, and then the rest of it will kind of come. Bam will do his part. But you just need a couple guys to just shoot a high clip of threes, and then those guys will start getting the ball more. The guys who are missing won't take as many. You'll play that unselfish basketball that the Heat play and get the ball in the right places. But it was just everybody was missing on that in Game 4.
No, you're right. That was the worst. I don't know. I got to go back and look. I don't know if they've shot worse from three-point range in the entire playoffs. I mean, that was really, really bad for the Miami Heat. And getting back to Patrick's point about their faith in Jimmy, and they should have a lot of faith in Jimmy, playoff Jimmy, Himmy, as they call him. As Eric Spoelstra said, we are him and he is us.
That's it. That is how we roll.
That is how they roll. His isolation game has picked up exponentially in this series. In the first 2 rounds, Jimmy Butler was averaging 8.3 ISO opportunities per game in rounds 1 and 2. In this series, he's averaging 18.3.
Yep.
It's going up 10 isolation opportunities. Boston, how about this? He's had 73 isolation opportunities. Hell, that's more than Brown and Tatum combined. So he's playing a lot of ISO ball, and he's winning at that ISO ball, too. So Jimmy's going to be big in this. 3-point shots also going to be pretty big in terms of factors in this matchup.
Well, here's the other part of it, too, and this is a great point by the texter. They're going to cut their rotation down. They've already had a 7-man rotation, and Vincent, if he's not going to be able to play tonight, he's going to be a huge loss because he has been playing really good around the perimeter this entire time. So what are they going to do to provide depth? I love the challenge that Boston's going to be up against, but I just don't know if they have enough to be able to push it to a Game 6.
It's all about Jason Tatum.
Yep.
It's that simple. I mean, Jason Tatum, if he, plays like the best player in this series, which he's possible.
He's very capable.
He's capable of doing that, right?
Yeah.
It's possible he could do that. And he, last game, 34 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was playing like a player that was going to will his team to win. And as you pointed out, Harge, he can't disappear. In the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, as a matter of fact, he needs to assert himself. Games 1 and 2, because I remember Harge complaining about this when looked at it, 11 points combined in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
0 of 3 in the fourth quarter, so he wasn't even being aggressive. He had 5 turnovers also in games 1 and 2 combined in the fourth quarter. But game 4 was his fourth quarter. 11 points, 5 of 7, 0 turnovers, money time. Yep. He was money. So he's got to be money in money time, because if you're not, you know who is money? Himmy
is ready to go.
Himmy is straight cash, homie.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that in that fourth quarter in clutch time that you are putting your team on your back, because Jimmy is certainly going to do that. So I think that's another big factor too. Yeah, whether Jason Tatum is timid.
Yeah. And is he going to share the ball enough to make the right basketball play? We talk about it all the time. Is he so much that he's one-minded and one-sided every time he's taking the ball? He's trying to get to the basket and he's not looking to add other pieces, because then Jaylen Brown, when he gets the ball, he's not looking to pass.
Yeah.
He will continue to put up shots, and it's like, well, if you're sharing the ball, then I'm with you. If you're not sharing it, I'm going to get mine, because there's times where you stall me out half the time when you don't pass me the ball. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can come back and still have that balance. I thought a big part of their success, too, was Robert Williams. Robert Williams in the paint playing defense and being physical and leaning on Bam Adebayo, so it becomes one of those, not mismatch, but fatigued-wise. Yeah. It becomes a little bit tired.
And, I mean, it's just going to be, too, if Mazzulla can get the Celtics to have the right attitude going into this. I don't think they've had it for pretty much all of this playoffs. They've walked around like they've already made the finals. Like it's a foregone conclusion that they're going in there and this is their year. They're just walking around like that, and they have been all playoffs, and it's bitten them a bunch of times, and then they have to come back, get a little bit humbled to come back and win Game 4, and then they immediately act down 3-1.
Yep.
Like, told ya. Told ya.
Yep.
Do you see? I told you I'm one of the best. Humbly, I'm one of the greatest players of all time.
Humbly.
Come on, man.
That was a funny moment.
You can't act all the time. Like, you disappeared for 3 straight games, and then you're going to come back and be like, I told you.
Hey, if they win this game, though, it's a series.
It is.
It's a series. That's they just played that mindset, guys. We got to win. We got to win one game.
I want to see them win a game without Miami giving it to them, because technically they can still win. Because this is why Miami didn't have the great season, is they aren't, they have lapses and are not consistent and missed shots at times throughout the season. So you could technically just basically luck out in that Miami just ran out of steam one game before the finals, but you didn't win Game 4. Miami lost Game 4.
Yeah.
Because they were up at half and then basically turned the ball over a bunch of times and missed all their shots. And yes, you played defense, but they played the worst basketball they had played in 4 games in that second half of Game 4. So you can't say, oh man, we finally figured it out. You go, no, they just missed a lot of open shots. So if they hit those shots, the series is over. So you need to come back into this with that fire under you, and I don't know if Mazzulla and Tatum and Brown can have that fire.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I remember that. It was a 14-minute stretch where basically the Miami Heat looked like the Miami Heat for most of the regular season, not the Miami Heat we've seen in the playoffs. They were outscored 48-22 in that stretch. And I think that's kind of what Patrick's talking about. They really kind of that's when you could argue they gave the game away, or you say Boston took the game, whatever you want to say. But I remember that stretch, and to include that third quarter where they were outscored by 15 points. We haven't seen Miami play that bad the entire playoffs.
No,
That's right.
That was a big number.
Yeah, they missed 26 shots in the second half. I think they took 40 shots. They missed 26 of them.
And and some of them were point blank.
Yeah,
a lot of them were in the lane too. So yeah, I'm with you on that.
Man, I'm gonna pick Boston just because I think they might end up winning Game 2. But I think ultimately the Heat win it. I think they'll win it in 6.
It's over.
It could be over.
It's over.
Right now, the Boston believes they found something.
Boston believes a lot of things.
Could be delusion. Yeah, what's the difference?
I think Brad Stevens believes Joe Mazzulla is going to be looking for a job in about 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's been a rumor too. They don't know if Boston's going to stick with Joe Mazzulla when Boston loses. I think they will lose the series. But when they lose the series, whether it's tonight or whether that's Game 6, I do think it'll happen. If it ends up going to a Game 7, anything can happen. But I think winning the series, I'll put my money on playoff Jimmy Hime.
Put it on him, because he's about to get it down.
He's about to get it done. Yeah. And Texter did bring up that Gabe Vincent, you brought it up too, Arch, that he's out.
Yeah.
So, if that is the case, then they're going to be without one of their key pieces in their rotation. So one of those undrafted players they keep bringing up.
Yeah.
I've been keeping track of this undrafted number. Right
keeps
now,
going up.
They're more than 700 points scored in the playoffs by their undrafted players. That is, of course, the most in the history of the league.
And they keep adding
last 50 years. And
they keep adding to it.
They do also. They got the good news that Tyler Hero is back on non-contact drills.
Ooh.
So he's not back, but he is.
They make it to the finals.
So yes, he's on track to be able to play in the finals.
That's crazy. Oh man.
So that was the good news, is that they're starting to bring him back now.
That would be scary.
Oh,
the Miami team adding him to the mix. We talked about how lethal they've been from 3-point range, and that's been without arguably their best 3-point shooter in Tyler Hero. So
yeah.
Wow. All right. We'll see if they can get it done tonight. So Game 5. We'll get into another breakdown of that coming up in the 6 o'clock hour and dive a little bit deeper into that topic. Just real quick, have you guys been keeping up with this Kyrie Irving stuff?
I have, just because of
weird stuff going on.
The
with Kyrie
crypticness to it.
Yeah. He's put out some social media messages and recently said, "Leave me alone." Essentially, one of his messages was, leave him alone.
Yeah.
He's tired of being the topic of conversation. For off-season fodder, at least for him, because the season's still going on technically. But he says, yes, after the season, when it officially is over, that's when he wants the conversation to commence.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
I mean, keep putting yourself out there now.
I
you know what I'm saying? You're creating the media buzz. Now that LeBron and those guys are out of it, we may not see him again. Because I don't think he's tight with a Jason Tatum. I don't think he's tight with a Jimmy Butler. I don't think those are guys that he kicks it with where he'll be front row.
Do you remember his time in Boston?
Yeah,
it was not good.
That's what I'm saying. He will. That's right, because he just
saged the locker
off.
room when he went back when he was in Brooklyn and they played in Boston. He saged the locker room because he had so many bad memories and thoughts there, and that was one of the ones where James Harden was like, what did I get into?
Right.
This dude is saging the locker room, guys.
No, that's a big. Obviously, Mavs fans are a little concerned whether they can bring him back. I think he's open to it, but a lot of the conversation now about Kyrie Irving, he doesn't like it.
Yeah,
the whole point of it. He's not cool with the conversation. All right, what you got coming up for the people on Hard Knock Life?
I'm gonna talk about this former first-round pick, professional baseball player, that kind of gives you a behind-the-scenes look at what truly happens after the draft.
After the draft.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Is this good or bad?
It's a little bit of both. It's an educational piece.
All right. I'm looking forward to getting educated.
Yeah, I know. I know you like this education.
We'll get into that little education for y'all. Talking hardball with hardball coming up next on Hard Knock Life right here on Ball Don't Lie on 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about, what I love, and I know you might be a big fan of it, too. My favorite beer might be your favorite beer, too, and that's Bud Light. I've been a big fan of Bud Light for a really long time because Bud Light is the perfect beer for any occasion. Doesn't matter what it is. Maybe it's a tailgate for you. Maybe it's just happy hour for you. Maybe you're hanging out with friends and family, backyard barbecues, whatever the occasion. Trust me, Bud Light is a great fit. Turns good times into great times, and the rest of the times into the best of times. That's why Bud Light is my choice, and it should be yours too. And keep in mind that Bud Light also can be a great beer for all of your festivities during Memorial Day. You want to celebrate with the holidays. I need to make sure that you're having a good time. Make sure you're having a safe and responsible time. Make sure you designate a driver when you decide to ride, or you can also make sure that you take a ride share. Whatever you want to do to make sure that you're celebrating the Memorial Day in a safe and responsible fashion. That's what Bud Light is all about. So make sure you pick up a cold case of Bud Light. Get the weekend started the right way, whether you're celebrating a birthday like my man Patrick Davis over there, or you're just celebrating the weekend coming up. Make sure you do it with Bud Light, the world's favorite light beer, brewed deep in the heart and proud of it.
Welcome back to a new theme Thursday edition of Ball Don't Lie, and the new theme is Tina Turner. Tina Turner passed away yesterday, and Patrick, what better way to bring it in to have a new theme than to honor Tina Turner with some of her great music as always. You can follow me on Twitter at HardballHard. You can follow my man Rob Babers at Rob Babers. And, of course, you can follow the man that's in charge of all of our themes here at Ball Don't Lie at It's Patrick Davis. Also, and by the way, give him a special birthday shout-out. Today is his birthday, so hit him up on that as well. But hit us on the Specs text line and tell him happy birthday, 512-337-3776. For old listeners and new listeners, I wanted to touch on this just a little bit. For those that don't know, I was a second-round pick out of high school, had an opportunity to go play baseball in college, and, of course, get drafted during that time. And it was a very, very beautiful time for my family, my friends, and everybody that has been following me throughout my career when that draft day comes. And as a high school draft pick, it was even more special because it's just one of those other things that happen in the sports. Some guys go to college, they get drafted high. Some guys come out of high school and get drafted high. But it was still, no matter the path that you take, the draft is so important to anybody that plays any kind of sport. You work your entire life for that. All the traveling with your mom and dad on trips, taking you to camps, playing on select teams. It's pretty interesting, and it's something that you really work hard for. Everybody can't have that dream or doesn't see themselves as that, but they all want to be that at some point if you're playing sports and you're trying to compete. Well, there's this story that a lot of people don't really know about what happens after you get drafted. This the hype train, the road there, everything is great. And Rod, you can speak to this as well, because when you get drafted, you're excited, you get in there, but now you're just a number and you got to go out there and perform. And that's the thing about it. You can get so much room because of your draft status, and they believe because, hey, we invested money in this young man, but they also look at you and was like, hey, man, why did we invest money in this man? You know, they're always having those thoughts. So it's either, man, I'm glad we got this dude, or, man, God, what did we miss on, right?
Yep.
So this young man, his name is Jacob Taylor. He was the highest paid high school draftee in Major League Baseball history.
Wow.
He got his signing bonus was $5.5 million. He signed at 18. He made his major league debut at 20 and was hanging on to my career by the age of 25. Now, here's where it's really interesting, because professional sports, it definitely is one of the greatest jobs you could possibly have. It is an amazing, amazing thing, and I'm excited for everybody that's ever been able to lace them up as a professional athlete. It's so good. But you don't always get to see the struggles. You don't get to see. We just now started getting Hard Knocks, right? It was at the debut of The Ride.
Yep.
Right? And so that's going to be coming out, and I want y'all to make sure that y'all talk about that and see that as well, because it moved me and Rod because of these athletes and what they go through. And every time they get in there, they're putting their life on the line. We're playing a sport that, football, you do put your life on the line. Baseball, you got your life in other people's hands because they're throwing 100 miles an hour, hit you upside the head, anything can happen. But you don't know everything that goes into it on the other side, all the work, all the training, everything that goes into it. So here's the interesting part about this story that this young man went through. He wrote this so eloquently, and that's why I want to share it. It said, "You're flying blind. The Major League Draft is like a Houdini's black box. You never know what is going to happen. Teams know everything, agents know pieces, and the players know nothing." So as you're sitting there and you're waiting, and you're like, who's going to draft me? Who's going to draft me? You've seen it in the NFL draft just recently. Everybody's trying to figure out what's up. Then he says in the second one, you need to know only. That means we're just going to tell you what you need to know. We're not going to give you all the information. And once you get in the professional world, period, that's what happens too. You're walking in the dark. You think everything's good, then boom, it's getting pulled from underneath you, and you're like, wait, what just happened? Why didn't we know about that? So then he says, leverage is everything. To get paid in the draft, you must craft a story that excludes leverage. you have to have your leverage, or else it's not going to be able to be negotiated. And that's kind of what he was talking about. And then he says the red carpet, it only lasts for 2 days.
Yeah, for real. Don't get it twisted.
Do not get it twisted. He's like, you got the draft euphoria. It'll last for about 48 hours. You went from a high schooler to a big leaguer. So you thought, I went to rookie ball. And you thinking, man, I'm a pro baseball player. Wait, I'm only going to get paid $200 a month when y'all take this out my check for a place that you're making me stay at? Oh, man, this is how this works? Man, I thought I was your guy. Nope. You become that number. You become a part of it. And then he says $5 million. He said millions of the dollars can change everything, but it also can change nothing. He said he got his first check. He got $1.2 million in 30 days. It changed everything. Yet I woke up on day 31 and I felt the same. Nothing changed. Nothing has gone on. Yes, you're getting paid for your services and what your abilities gave you, but now it is work. Yeah. You get hired, but now your job is to not get fired. And we've all been there. We get hired. Your job is to not get fired. And then he says, what people don't truly understand is the taxes. Now, obviously, as we've gotten older, we realize it. During those times, you're not educated near as much on certain things, and you got to make sure you have the right people in your corner.
Yep.
You have to have those people to help you walk you through this. Then he goes on and he says, year one, the money traps. You're thinking the money's going to be there forever. And then all of a sudden the money is moved and it's not what it used to be because, yes, you brought it up. Those taxes, they get you right off the rip.
Ain't no doubt.
And you're in a different tax bracket when you're 18 years old.
Get that special attention.
So now you're like, ooh. So now I'm in this price range and now I got to do this, I got to do that. So you start learning quickly. Then you understand about the travel. You're not jet setting. You riding buses, baby. You riding buses unless you're in the big leagues. And in the minor leagues and AAA, you get to fly certain places. But AA, riding the bus. Single A, riding the bus. Rookie ball, riding vans. Making sure that the coach can get you there. Yep. So you're looking at so many different things. And at the end of it all, you have to be a winner in order to stay in this game. You have to find a way. When you get that type of money, a lot is expected of you. You have to perform at a very high level. You don't want people second-guessing you. So then your mental part of it, if you're struggling, your mental aspect of it is like, man, I used to be so good. What am I doing wrong? And if you've never had failure, like perfect example, Kyler Murray. He never failed. He never failed. And then he had adversity, and he didn't know how to handle it with the Sam Ehlinger deal on the middle of the field. That was the first time that young man had lost as a starter.
It's crazy.
And you play baseball, he's been doing all this stuff, so he was in a position to where he wasn't used to that, to where it's like, wait, how am I supposed to act? And it happens and it wears on you, and then your mentality changes. So as good as a lot of these kids are, and myself, I was part of the draft, and some of the kids that I've talked to throughout my career when I was coaching, and I've had a couple kids get drafted in the 1st through 5th round. It's a tough road to hoe, but you have to be ready to do so. And no matter what it is, whether it's NFL, whether it's NBA, whether it's you coming out of the University of Texas or pick your college and you're going to a new job, you are going to have challenges. And the message is continue to fight, but know your worth. And if you don't know your worth, figure it out. You have to. Because that is the only negotiating power that you will ever have. And you only get it a couple times in your life where you are the master negotiator.
Got all the leverage.
And you're speaking for yourself. But how do you get it? You put your work in so people have to look at you a certain way. So I thought this guy's story was fascinating. His name is Jacob Turner. He was a first-round pick. He's a wealth management now.
Oh, yeah. So he's always about to say cash on me.
Yeah, so he understands now. So it's a very, very interesting story. And I just think that a lot of people, when you look at these kids that are going to get their draft opportunity or some that don't, but going into the regular workforce and being able to know your worth is the most important thing that you can possibly have.
Yeah, no, it is. That's interesting, and I think another thing that athletes struggle with, in addition to that kind of shock factor, that when you draft that euphoria, you talk about. I love the way he described it too. That when you do transition from the sports world to the real world, as I like to say, how the skills translate and transition as well. Like you did learn skills. A lot of guys just don't know how to describe those skills. They don't know how to quantify them, and they also don't know how to transition them and translate them into another part of their professional experience. So that was pretty good. Where was that article at?
It was on. He's got it on his Twitter page, and it's called The Sudden. His Twitter handle is @TheSuddenWealth.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. The sudden wealth, because that's exactly what it was.
It is.
It was like, man, I went from nothing to $5.5 million.
Yeah.
$5.5 million. That's a different draft day than what I had, bro.
Yeah. Trust me, the draft, the guys are getting paid a lot different than the slot I was drafted. I would look at the slot I was drafted every year and go, damn.
Yeah, exactly.
I just been a little later in life. I could have
like my mama was fast out there, had me early.
Yeah, exactly. I need mom to be a little bit older when she had me.
Exactly.
Could have got a lot more straight cash home. That's good stuff there, man. And I think writing pieces like that, it's important because you keep the cycle. There's a cycle that athletes, unfortunately, a lot of athletes have to go through. And it is at times can be a kind of destructive one as well when they try to transition from the sports world to the real world. And it's columns like that allow people like you who went through a very similar experience to be able to relate. And also for the young people who are going to go through it, hopefully they get some of that wisdom.
No doubt.
So they know how to handle that moment. He's right about all of that too. And I remember some of that too from my experience.
It's a blessing and a curse.
It is. It's human nature,
Yep.
right? To have that. I think Nick Saban calls it the success flu.
Yeah.
He's like, you never want to get the success flu, that moment where you believe you've made it to the top of the mountain. You can't exhale.
You can.
And then that moment of comfort and complacency oftentimes can be a curse. And then you're like, man, you can't relax for a moment? No.
Nope. No.
Because psychologically, that acts almost like a cancer and a virus.
Yes.
In your sports character, because think you've been grinding for so long, and to have that relaxation and to look around and go, all right, so I don't have to worry about money anymore for a while. Woo! Thank God. A lot of people, that's their driving force.
That is.
I mean,
Money
Mayweather has a great advantage in all of his fights recently. Not anymore because he's retired. But like, go look at his last 15, 20 fights. All of his opponents were having their biggest payday ever because he's Money Mayweather. It was their biggest fight they ever had, and they would get that payday. They'd get that payday before the fight. Yeah. They'd already know. And as Bernard Hopkins once told me, fighters come from poverty. Fighters,
majority
it's
of them,
rare that you get a fighter from an affluent household and from wealth. Because why the hell would you want to fight for a living? Who the hell wants to do that?
You're not sitting up in there at the country club fighting.
You fight for a living because you have to. It's the same thing like, honestly, bull riding's kind of like that too.
Absolutely.
Either you're a family legacy bull rider or like you kind of came from being cowboy way in the culture and I'm going to bull riding. That's what it is. And but going back to Money Mayweather, them getting that paycheck, getting the biggest payday of their career right before the biggest fight of their life, that is not coincidental.
Correct.
That is psychological warfare by Money Mayweather.
He's so smart. He's
like,
so smart.
Just so you know, before the fight, you and your wife and mom are celebrating because y'all have generational wealth and never have to worry about money again. And Money Mayweather's thinking about taking your head off.
Because he wants straight cash, homie. And he put a lot of money on himself to beat you.
Yeah, and you're almost thankful for that. You're like, damn, I'm glad he put that money in my paycheck, my bank account, man. We feel good. Y'all feel good? Yeah, feel good. It's hard to go out there with that same intensity, man.
Yeah.
So
head swole up, looking like a pumpkin head.
Exactly. That's obviously a different example of it, but that's kind of what he's talking about. That moment, you got to avoid that.
Yep.
You got to sort of stay focused on the mission at hand.
Yep.
Which is the grind, because the grind is what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Once you get uncomfortable with the grind, you remember you got uncomfortable with the grind.
Yeah,
I remember when it became too much for me. I was like, I can't do it. The grind is too much for me.
I got to move around.
Exactly right.
Yeah. How many kids I got?
Yeah,
I gotta get home, man. I gotta get home.
Because life gets in the way of the grind.
Exactly.
Life becomes the grind.
Yep.
Used to be the grind was all I knew, and then life becomes the grind.
Mm-hmm.
Kobe Bryant said it best too. He said, "Man, I can't be a great the greatest basketball player on the planet and be the greatest father and be the greatest husband and be a great friend to all of y'all. I can't. There's only 24 hours in a day. And I'm devoting most of that to being a great basketball player.
No doubt.
and I got to be a great father. So then I got the other 10 hours devoted to being a great father.
Yep.
So by the time I'm done with being a great father and being a great basketball player, my wife is upset because I devoted the least amount of time to being a great husband. And after that, the rest of y'all, I can't be y'all's friend.
I ain't got that kind of time. That's right. I ain't got the kind of time, man.
It's the same conversation.
Yeah.
It's at different ends of the spectrum.
Agreed.
I love that stuff. That's good stuff. All right, we'll come back. Oh, this is great. How about this, guys? We've been talking about Jimmy Butler. He's become a superstar here in these playoffs. We found out, and we have audio courtesy of my man Patrick, of how Jimmy Butler ironically became a fan of country music. I'm not BSing.
It's outstanding.
You're gonna hear it, and it's unbelievable. We'll play that. We'll come back off the record right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. Let me tell you about our good friends over at Ironworkers Local 482 because they've been helping shape this great city since 1935. We all love Austin. It has a beautiful aesthetic appeal thanks in no small part to the craftsmanship of our good friends at Ironworkers Local 482. You see the labors of their love all over this great city and iconic landmarks, exquisite landmarks like DKR Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And as the city continues to grow and thrive, so do our friends over at Ironworkers Local Union 482. They don't go to the office, they build it. So if you're looking for an exciting new career, you want something fresh, something new, something that will challenge you, you can become a valued member of Ironworkers Local 482 and accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape our city's economic development. Right now, they're hiring over 3,000 people for a huge project right here in Central Texas, and you can become a member of Ironworkers Local 482 and take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that helps shape the future of our great city. Maximize your potential and be your best self today. Simply apply at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. So, Jimmy Butler, who is becoming, Jimmy Butler was already a star among, basketball fans. Everybody knows who Jimmy Butler is. But now, Jimmy Butler's getting, and Patrick, you obviously, you're a little bit more immersed in the NBA community. By the way, Patrick's celebrating a birthday today, so wish him a happy B-Day via the Specs text line, 512-337-3776. Do you feel this Jimmy Butler starting to get like the Chuck Norris treatment almost?
Yeah,
especially with the MJ story now about maybe that's his daddy.
That's good.
Yeah,
right?
That's good.
I can see that. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Like it's weird.
That's
like
good.
I feel that he's gonna be Chuck Norris level pretty soon with the jokes and everything kind of stuff. But the MJ, like this MJ story that I thought it was just a joke. This conspiracy theory today, people say that he's MJ's son because he doesn't know his dad. That's pretty freaky too. That people are like running away with that, and that's gonna become like one of the kind of pop culture controversies and conspiracy theories surrounding Jimmy Butler. But anyway, so Jimmy Butler, there's now a lot of different stories coming out about Jimmy Butler, and this one was buried. I had never heard this. Have you heard this before, Patrick?
No.
This is so weird. I thought it was fake when I first read it. I was like, oh, this is an Onion article story, and then I found the audio. So it's wrong. So he went on a podcast 7 months ago called Alo Yoga.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And he was opening up about a ton of different stuff on this podcast. You can go check it out. It's on YouTube over there. Go check it out. And on this podcast, he talks about his experience as a country music fan and how he became a country music fan. He even talked about going to concerts with different country music artists and all that kind of stuff. This is a little shocking. And it turns out, and I'll let him break it down for you, he did not want to be a country music fan. It's something that happened to him. I'll let Jimmy explain. Wow, that is a great story, though, that he was trying to taunt his teammates and troll his teammates with what he thought was the the kind of, I don't know, the most annoying country song, I guess you could taunt them with. And he ended up liking it after listening to the lyrics, and now he's a huge country music fan.
I love that Jimmy Butler is just an old uncle.
Yeah.
Like, that's all he is. He's that, like, he came up and he's like, put the headphones on your head.
That is something Dad would say. Boy, why your headphones on your head?
Exactly. Why you got them on the top? Why you got them on the top? I know that's what I said.
I don't want to hear that Wiz Khalifa's.
Yeah, I wonder who his favorite. Yeah, because he didn't want to hear all of their music. I wonder who his favorite artist was at the time, or who he was jamming, or was he jamming anybody? Was Jimmy just listening to Jimmy?
I know
Jimmy was listening to Jimi Hendrix, probably. You know what I'm saying?
And they said, like, one of the players was talking about it the other day about Jimmy gets to play all the music in the locker room.
Of course,
and
he does.
they're like, they're like it's weird. Like he'll play Justin Bieber or he'll play something like it's completely
Wow.
all over the map.
Interesting. And now hold on. Do we have access to this country music song he's making or
yeah.
made? This was
not
7
that
months
he made,
ago.
no.
Not the one he made.
Okay, we got to figure
We
this
got
out. We got to do some
he's
research.
recording now.
Because this podcast was some few months ago, so he's either recording or they're editing.
That's why I was like,
We
how
gotta-
he know
wait,
he
is
can
gonna
go
have,
on
do you
Monday?
think he's gonna have the first country diss track?
He'll go Tupac on that.
He's just gonna have
country song.
he's just gonna have a whole country song called the Celtic Blues.
Yeah, he might.
I'm sure some country music fan is gonna tell us there's been plenty of country music diss tracks.
Yeah.
that we've been missing somehow.
Well,
Okay,
as long
can
as
we-
you understand, don't take Jimmy Johnson. Take Tommy Thompson.
Okay, so I want to hear this. Can we hear this song? I am not familiar with this.
This is
song.
my karaoke song.
This
This is my karaoke
This
song.
is the song that made Jimmy Butler love
Oh
country
my
music.
God, this is outstanding.
This is why he fell in love with it?
My crib is listening right now. Y'all know this is my jam.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, let me hear it.
Was taking him fishing
What?
when he was 8 years old. Yeah. Through the
You know, Rod, sometimes I'm happy I'm not from the 254,
Wow.
Yeah.
from the 512. And
This is your karaoke jam?
Just watch this.
Wow.
This is the best part right here. Leave her behind. Oh, yeah. This is my part right here.
Okay.
And then he said to Jimmy Johnson, take Tommy Thompson, take my best friend Bo,
wow. Wow.
take anybody that you want.
Oh, man.
Long as she don't go.
Rod, I had no idea this is where we're going tonight.
I didn't know. Please turn it off.
Hey, I told
turn it
y'all.
off now, please. Turn it off. I had no idea it was going to go that badly. I've never heard that song before.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that was actually my second time hearing it because I had to hear it to send it to Patrick.
Oh,
I listened to
yeah.
it, and I did not know Harge loved it that much.
Oh, my gosh.
I
That's
did
my
not
jam.
know that.
That's my jam. Hey, that was one of my songs. Hey, that was kind of one of my walk-ups.
Was it really?
No, just kidding. I wouldn't use that. That's too slow. That is too slow.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah.
Mac Brown loves stuff like that too. He used to play before the games. He would play a song about Let's Dance. Remember this?
Oh, come on.
Remember
Put
that?
on your red shoes and dance with you.
No. It was a country music song.
Oh, I
It was
don't know
like
that one.
maybe it was like Shania Twain or something. I don't know who was singing it. But it was a
He
weird,
seems like he's a
it was,
Shania
it was
Twain.
like that. It was like that. It was like that slow of a song though.
Wow.
And he would play it before football games.
He wanted y'all to calm down a little bit.
I'm gonna look it up in the break. I'm gonna find it. We're not gonna play it because it's gonna bring the show down. It would bring us down sometimes.
You tell Harge to be like, oh, that's my second
oh,
karaoke.
man, that's my other
Oh,
one.
no, I think it was I Hope You Dance. Is there a country music song called I Hope You
I
Dance?
have no clue.
Yeah.
Patrick's like, I don't know.
See there? Look.
Okay, hey, Specs Excellent. Is there a country music song that Mac Brown used to play before the games when I played called I Hope You Dance or I Want to See You Dance or something? All right, please let me know. I'm not that much of a country music fan. I do like some country music, but I did not know Harge was that into.
Oh, yeah.
What's the name of that song?
That's
Don't Take the Girl
by Tim McGraw.
What is it about?
The kid did not want anybody else going with him. It was just supposed to be him and dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All
and
right.
then it got better, and then there were some hard life lessons all the way through, and then boom, all of a
Wow.
sudden,
I was hoping it was going to be like a Liam Neeson thing.
no, I
Oh,
got
yeah.
a special set of skills.
Leanne Womack, I Hope You Dance. Thank you, Texter. Mac Brown used to play that damn song before we would play football.
Come on,
We played
Come
that
on.
damn song, I swear. We'd be warming up.
He
and then
wanted you to play like Jimmy Butler.
well done. We're going to end it on that note. Can't beat that one. That's like Costanza on a high note. All right, we're out. We'll come back right here on Ball Don't Lie. What if we're not the horn? Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a new theme Thursday. I'm sure you can guess what the new theme is. My man Patrick, he always, on a new theme Thursday, one of my favorite musically themed days of the week, he takes jams, certain songs that are supposed to lead Harj and I to the breadcrumbs that lead us to the feature of New Theme Thursday, or what the topic is for New Theme Thursday. And it is a tribute to Tina Turner, because she passed away yesterday, the icon, the diva, at 83 years old. So another great iconic song. Yeah, this is one of them. It's been in a lot of movies, but it's also just it's a timeless. She's got a bunch of timeless ones.
Yeah.
And
a lot of these too, like a lot of these are covers, but she did them more famously than the other versions. A lot of times she would take that, but yeah, like it's. There's a lot of songs where you hear them and then you're like, I associate them with Tina Turner, and then you look them up and like, okay, that was actually done by someone else.
Didn't Cher do this one too? Did Cher do a Simply the Best?
I think Bonnie Tyler was the original.
Okay. I'm saying, did she ever do a cover of it?
She might have.
I want to say that sounds familiar, but I could be way off about that. Anyway, paying tribute to Tina Turner, that is the new theme for New Theme Thursday. So shout out to Patrick. Also, speaking of shout out to Patrick, you can shout him out on the Spec Text line. It's his birthday.
It's his birthday.
Patrick is celebrating a B-Day today, so we're helping Patrick celebrate his B-Day. You can wish him a happy birthday on the Spec Text line, 512-337-3776. You also can do it via Twitter. He's at It's Patrick Davis in the Twitterverse. You can hit up Harj at Hardball Harj in Twitterverse. Harj, you're getting a lot of compliments. More compliments than critiques of your karaoke.
Now, there's a lot of people hating on my on my phone, but I appreciate everybody that's looking out for your boy when it's coming to Tim McGraw.
Yes. Okay. So for those who weren't keeping up, in our latest off the record, we ended up playing a piece of audio from Jimmy Butler on a podcast who admitted he's a huge country music fan, and the reason he's a country music fan is because he was once trying to troll and taunt his teammates for wearing their Beats by Dre headphones basically around their necks and then playing the music, blaring it so everybody can hear it instead of putting it on their damn head so only they could hear it. So he's kind of an old grumpy man in that sense, but he was trying to taunt them, so he did the same thing to them, but did it what he thought was annoying country music, and he did it so much he started liking the country music, listening to the lyrics of it, and I think he admitted that the song that basically got him hooked on country music turned out, and I didn't know this at the time before we decided to play it, is also one of Harj's favorite songs, Tim McGraw, Don't Take the Girl.
Right.
Because he was trying to find the most annoying country song out there, and turns out Tim McGraw hooked him.
Boom.
Hook, line, and sinker. Got him.
Got me.
Now he's making a country music album. BS you not.
That's
Jimmy
what he
Butler
said.
is making a country music album because he fell in love with country music because of Tim McGraw and Don't Take the Girl. And now because Harj was doing karaoke because that's one of his favorite songs, it is stuck in my head because the first line of the chorus, the Jimmy Johnson line, it gets me.
Yep.
And how do we not know that Jimmy Johnson of the Dallas Cowboys was not an inspiration for the Jimmy Johnson line in Don't Take the Girl?
We don't. We're gonna go. Was
Jimmy Johnson from Miami?
Oh yeah,
it could have been a Miami fan.
It was like Jimmy Johnson. How many Jimmy Johnsons have we known in just period and pop culture, sports? Whatever.
I know two.
How many? You know two?
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson for the Cowboys and Jimmy Johnson from NASCAR.
Yeah,
so that's two of them.
And one came first.
Exactly.
One is a lot older.
One is a lot older.
All right, so I don't know. That song came out when? 90 what?
94.
Come on, man. Take Jimmy Johnson. Take Jimmy Johnson.
If they would have said, take Jerry Jones,
exactly.
I think Cowboy fans would be excited.
Come on. I think if I was Jimmy Johnson, I'm like, yeah.
I need some royalties.
I'm making that story. I'm like, hey, I inspired that lyrics in that song. You know that's me. What other Jimmy Johnson is there?
How many other Jimmys do you
Tim
know?
McGraw just thought of a Jimmy Johnson out of nowhere? No, he's a Jimmy Johnson.
He had to know somebody.
Come on, man. Cowboys was running stuff back then.
I like it.
All right. Anyway, but yeah, basically, Jimmy Butler, we are looking for the country music album. And now, I have to say it, guys, I'm rooting for Jimmy Butler to win the NBA Finals and to win it all. Because he's going to be way more interesting as Jimmy Butler with a ring. This is a guy that's got a clothing line.
Jimmy Butler with a ring.
He's got a country music album coming out.
He's got coffee.
He's got coffee.
He's got coffee.
This dude's going to be doing commercials.
Yep.
He's going to go on a late night show and sing his country song with the Miami Heat in the background with him.
I like
he's
it.
He's going to be crazy and wild and fun and interesting.
Yep.
So I think I'm rooting for Jimmy, man, because the more I found out about Jimmy, the more I like him. Can you imagine how much he's going to troll the rest of the NBA when he has a ring?
Oh, my
He's
goodness.
been trolling them for the last 5-6 years without a ring.
That's a great point.
He's going to troll them on an historic, epic level. Trolling.
And will we have a DNA test with him and Michael Jordan, though?
Exactly. That conspiracy theory now goes to another level.
That's what I'm saying. We can also have this conversation every single week.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I like Jokic, but I'm rooting for Jimmy with a ring. Ooh, championship Jimmy?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, it's going to be fun. It'll be fun to follow championship Jimmy. All right.
I am going to say Tommy Thompson was an MLB player.
Okay.
And his dad was an MLB player.
Tim McGraw's dad was an MLB baseball player.
There you
so
go.
it could very easily be Jimmy Johnson, the coach, and Tommy Thompson, his player
he's
played like a friend to him.
He's a sports guy.
Those could be both his friends. Because his dad was a Hall of Famer, right?
And he's a famous country singer.
Well, I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer, but he's pretty doggone good. He was the closer for the World Series Philadelphia Phillies and the Mets. I think he pitched for the Mets too.
So yeah, you know what? Patrick's probably right. He probably famous country music star Jimmy Johnson, head coach of Dallas Cowboys, Super Bowl winning coach.
Yeah.
Dad's a pro athlete. In circles, might have just met him like, you know what, bro? I like that name. I'm writing the music.
That's pretty easy. They all rhyme.
Does Tim McGraw write his own music?
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Does he?
Who knows? It's country music.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a crapshoot in the country that a lot of guys don't write. It's like pop music. A lot of people just don't write their own stuff.
That's all music. Rap's like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got ghost riders in these streets. We got ghost riders.
Yeah, that's how you know you made it.
Yeah.
You ain't made it. You writing your own stuff. You ain't made it quite yet. All right. Or you're just ridiculously talented. All right, let's get to some other ridiculously talented folks. Let's talk about the NFL coaches in the NFL because they're upset about the NFL's latest rule change. If you haven't heard, NFL changed the fair catch rule on the kickoff returns. Now you can fair catch the kickoff return, catch it anywhere inside the 25. You fair catch it there, and then it automatically goes to the 25. That's the touchback. So they basically adjusted the touchback rule, and a lot of coaches are upset by this. We have a couple of pieces of audio. Dan Campbell, first, the Detroit Lions head coach, he had some very stern words about his opposition to the new rule.
Yeah, highly frustrating. It's very frustrating. But look, I don't make the rules, and so that's a new rule. Then we'll live by the new rule. We'll find a way to adjust, adapt, and still get what we want. You know, that's what you got to do. But you know, I hate that we continue to take away from the game. That's what really worries me. You know, we continue to bleed this league. You know, if we're not careful, it won't replenish at one point. But listen, it's the rules, and we'll make do and we'll adjust.
And the next piece of audio, that was Dan Campbell, head coach of the Detroit Lions, and he's opposed to this new rule. And here is Andy Reid when he was asked about the new rule change at OTAs.
I don't know. We'll have to go through all that. My thing is, where does it stop, right? So you start taking pieces, and you know, we'll see how this goes. But you don't want to take too many pieces away, or you'll be playing flag football.
All right, so John Harbaugh, who was also a special teams coach before he became a head coach, he said, quote, the fair catch rule, we had a chance to weigh in on that with all the special teams coaches. We had a long talk and discussion about that. We weren't for it. We voted against it. We think it's going to create more high-speed head trauma than not having it in there. That's our position on it, but we'll see. They want to give it a shot and take a look at it. He did not explain how he believes theoretically it's going to reduce or increase head trauma and high-speed collisions. But that was just his thoughts on it. And John Mara, owner of the Giants, also expressed opposition to the new rule. Now, the reason that they are offended, all right, was also the process of changing the rule. There are multiple annual meetings for the NFL. They have a meeting in March, and they're having a meeting right now in May. The one in March is a all-personnel meeting, pretty much. The head coaches go, GMs go, assistant coaches go, and the owners go. They discuss ideas. the time when they floated this idea in March, the coaches were vehemently opposed to it. They were adamantly against it.
Right.
Basically, the majority of them were. And they don't vote on it. The owners vote, and you need 3/4 majority votes to pass any new rule. But coaches can convince execs and GMs and execs can convince owners, right? You just that's up the chain of command. So at this recent meeting of the owners, there were no coaches because they're at OTAs. All right, and most of the GMs decided, well, I want to be with my coaches at the OTAs. I want to watch these rookies that I just drafted. I want to watch the players I just acquired. I want to watch them. I'm closer to the locker room than I am to being an executive. I want to be there. So these are mostly just the owners and some executives, and the owners voted after hearing the coaches' disagreement with this rule change in March. They decided to do it what they believe, the coaches believe, behind their back when they weren't there. Now, they didn't need them to change it, but they at least could have heard them out. The NFL decided they had more data since the March meeting, and the data influenced them, compelled them to make the change.
Yeah. And go ahead, Patrick.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you was about to say something. But yeah, you sit there and you start looking at that data, and you look at these other people that are part of their livelihood. This is how they made it to the league. This is how they became those types of players. And we don't know exactly, because what was the percentage on the touchbacks already? You know what I'm saying? Like, because how many times did we see the game at the very beginning? They're kicking the ball out of the end zone anyway, and the clock don't run.
Yes, what they're projecting is the new rule for fair catches. Basically, the kickoff, they're expecting kickoff returns to drop by even more, 31%.
Yep.
They're going to drop even more, so 31% drop in kickoff returns and a 15% drop in concussion rate. That's what they're projecting.
Right.
But you're right. Basically, kickoffs account for 6% of all plays, 12% of all concussions, 18% of all injuries. Largely now it's ceremonial. I mean, it's 80% of kickoffs were returned. You look at prior to 2010, and that's when they started changing the kickoff rules. 80%. And then that's when they moved the kickoff from the 40 to the 35. 80% of kickoffs were returned prior to that. And ever since then, they've been slowly changing the rules, and with every change, there is another drastic drop in kickoffs being returned. Last year, only 6 kickoffs were returned for touchdowns when Rod B was still playing in the league, long time ago. When I was still making money on special teams as a special teams ace or whatever, 25 kickoff return touchdowns in 2007. 25.
Interesting.
Down to 6. The NFL is basically shadow banning the kickoff. They don't like it. They believe that it's more of a burden than a benefit. I describe it as what the penny has become. It's costs more to make than it actually is worth. It's what a payphone is these days. The yellow pages, printed porn, you name it, right? It's more of a burden than it is a benefit to society. And the NFL believes that the kickoff is more of a burden than a benefit. They want to get rid of it. But as you see, there's going to be a lot of blowback if they do.
There definitely
Mostly
is going
from the coaches, players, and from executives, too. They don't want that blowback, so what they're going to do is they're going to slowly gut it, slowly emasculate it until it's essentially just a ceremonial play before a commercial break.
And that's
which it already is, basically.
Right. That's what it's become because of the fact, too, that all these kickers are stronger and they seem to find a way to kick the ball out of the back of the end zone. If you really wanted to change the way the game was played, move it back a little bit more and make them kick. What are they kicking from? The 35 right now or 25? So make it go back to the 20 and see what happens from there, because you're going to end up getting field position anyway. See what can happen from that part of it. Let's make it where I want to see kickoff returns. I love the fact that was part of the game. You think about all the people that have set records. You look at Devin Hester, Deion Sanders, multiple players, Billy White Shoes Johnson back in the day. You know, those guys, that was their way of life. They were most electrifying people on the field. And now you're taking that completely away from them. And now what are you going to do? You're not going to have those spots on the roster that you would use for a special team guy that you could also throw out there as a wide receiver or maybe a scat back or something like that. Those people are going to be gone too.
No, I agree with you. That's why I think the NFL, they should just copy the XFL. I know it's a pride thing with them, but they've copied the XFL before. They took the Skycam from the XFL. That was their idea. They took real-time audio during the games, players mic'd up. The NFL wasn't doing that before the XFL decided to do it during the games, using that audio in real time. And decentivizing decentivizing and discouraging extra points and incentivizing 2-point conversions. The NFL also has been doing that lately because they don't really like the extra point. They want the extra point essentially shadow banned, and also they want the kickoff essentially shadow banned. The extra point is just a wasted play. It's a boring, wasted play, and they want more action on that play. And basically, the kickoff is too much action. Right. That's your most dangerous play, if you will. But the extra point doesn't have enough danger in it, so they want teams to go for 2 points more. And recently, since they moved the extra point, teams' conversion rates for 2-point conversions has been increasing, and the extra point conversion rate has actually been decreasing. So they should just take the extra point idea from the XFL. 0 injuries from the kickoff returns in the XFL in 2020, 90% return rate, and their average starting field position 3 yards more than the NFL's average starting field position. For those who don't know the XFL, I understand why you haven't watched it. I get it. Their kickoff rule consists of 10 players on the kicking team, 10 players on the receiving team, everyone except the kicker and the returner lining up across each other 5 yards apart. No one except the kicker and returner can move until either the returner has touched the ball or the ball has been on the ground for at least 3 seconds. It's money, and it's entertaining as heck. I watched it. It really is. So they should just take it. I don't know what they're waiting on.
I mean,
just steal it.
You're a copycat league anyway. Do
just
what you want to do.
Yeah, what are you doing?
There's no copyrights infringements.
Well, now they have an agreement with the XFL.
Right. They use a lot of their stuff.
Yes. So I don't know why they don't just take it say like that. They do right for every rule change. We'll use it for 1 year. If it doesn't work, we'll change it back.
That's a good point.
I don't know what they're waiting on. It's crazy.
You know how they get down in there. They'll make some kind of decision right before the first game and say, this is what we're going to do. You know the best place to try it, too? Preseason games. Preseason games.
That is a great place to try it.
Go out there and try them in the preseason games.
I agree.
This is already controlled. Go out there and do that part of it. You're going to be playing with second, third, and fourth string players. Go out there and run it through that and see what it looks like in that moment.
I totally agree with you. Okay, I got one piece of audio, and then we'll play the other piece of audio and route around the day and just continue our NFL discussion. But let's get to the Lamar Jackson audio here, because Lamar Jackson is excited about his new offense, and everybody else is excited about his new offense too. Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator from the Georgia Bulldogs last year, national championship Bulldogs, he is now the offensive coordinator. And Lamar Jackson was asked about the new offense, how it looks, how he feels in it. His comments are pretty interesting because he's indicating or hinting that it's going to look very different. Less running for Lamar Jackson, more passing for Lamar Jackson. Here it is.
I mean, just being able to throw the ball down the field. You know, we sometimes, you know, we can't. Running can only take you so far, you know. And I feel like with this new era of teams and offenses in the league, I feel like we need that. And Coach Todd Monken, what I'm seeing his offense so far is looking tremendous.
Do you feel like you won't have to run as much, and that'll maybe be scaled back a little bit?
Absolutely, especially with the receivers we have, Bade, OBJ, Zay, Duve, Pro, all those guys. You got Isaiah, the tight end. I can't say Zay. Isaiah, the tight end. Mark, my guy.
All right, there you go. He's telling you they're going to be a lot more passing in this offense and, you know, less running. And, I mean, nobody's run the football more with quarterback runs than the Ravens in the last 4 years. I believe last year they were third in quarterback runs and quarterback rushes. But every year prior to that, they've been first in 2021, 2020, and 2019. So that's been their bread and butter. But this is a guy that came from a pro-style offense in college. It's always been, I don't know, laughable, but always humorous to me that the critique and the knock is that, man, he can't really operate in a pro-style offense as a pocket passing quarterback. And to say that he can't do it would be, to me, that's kind of misguided because we saw him do it in college in a pro-style offense. With the Ravens have not really asked him to do that in that Greg Roman offense. Todd Monken, who's actually kind of an air raid fan, he's kind of a stepchild in the air raid coaching tree, if you will. He actually will implement a lot more simple passing concepts. And according to Lamar Jackson, these are his words, he says, quote, Todd Monken is giving him the keys to the offense. He said, quote, you can change things when you want to. You see the defense and it's not looking right to you. You see some guy blitzing. You might want your wide receiver to do something different. Coach is giving you the free will to do whatever you want.
Yeah, they're putting you in the right spot. They're telling you, hey, man, this is the play we want to call, but if you see something different, don't be afraid to check out of it. You played this game for a long time. You've been that guy. Why hasn't he had that privilege to be able to check out of plays? Maybe he has and he just hadn't really done it. But, of course, you need to be that guy. We just gave you a lot of money. You need to make the right plays. That's what it's about.
I know. I've been looking at, they're one of five. There are 5 players since 1960 to have at least 30 passing touchdowns in the season with a passing touchdown percentage of 9% or higher. Lamar Jackson's one of those guys.
But he's not good enough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's crazy. Aaron Rodgers is on that list. Peyton Manning, Y.A. Tittle, and George Blanda are the other quarterbacks on that list. You got to go all the way back.
You got to go to Y.A. Tittle.
Crazy stats about this dude. And people are like, yeah, I don't think he can throw the ball from the pocket. We'll see. Because, by the way, the Ravens, and I've been critical of the Ravens, and I think they've deserved that criticism. They have not invested a lot of money on the offensive side of the ball, and this is actually one of the first times they're going to invest money in the offensive side of the ball. They spent the fewest salary cap dollars on offense in the last 4 years in the league, and the second fewest salary cap dollars on the wide receiver position. And they've had a ton of running back injuries. Now, Odell Beckham Jr. They invested in him.
Zay
Flowers in the draft.
Yep.
So they're changing some things organizationally that they don't normally do either.
Right.
I think they're trying to accommodate their franchise quarterback, which they should be. I mean,
no doubt.
He's worthy of that. All right, we come back. Bad news for the rest of the NFL.
What?
Patrick Mahomes. He's very unselfish. We'll get into that in Rod's rant of the day. All of that and more right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here, and I'm excited to talk about my friends over at Apple Leasing because you want friends like these. They want to be your friends, too. You need friends like this when it comes to the car business because if you're trying to get a new car, it can be really frustrating. It can be a really frustrating process, and it can be a grueling, stressful process, too. Well, Apple Leasing, they'll take the stress out of that process for you. All you got to do is let them know what kind of car you want, whether it be an SUV or a sedan. Let them know what kind of price you're willing to pay, and let them know what kind of payment that works out for you and your budget, and they will do all the work. They do the rest of it. I know it sounds like a really simple business model because it is a simple business model. That's why they do business here in Austin for almost 40 years because they do business the right way and they take care of their customers. All it takes is one phone call or one click on Apple Leasing's website and you'll get a quote on any make or model vehicle that you want. They even give you an estimate on the value of your trade-in right over the phone. Just give them a call, 512-346-9977, and someone who's called that number a lot is my man Mike Harge.
That's right. I have called it a lot, and I have not been disappointed at all. Do yourself a favor. As my man Rod Babers was telling you, go to appleleasing.com or just give them a call, 512-346-9977. Any make, any model, and I can't tell you how much we love our vehicles. Every single time something comes up and we're like, hey, we might need to trade this one in and get a different one, don't worry about it. Give us a call. We come in, we work out the financials and make sure that it works within both of the budgets, and then you're off and on your way. And if you don't want to go into the office when you get ready to make the signing, they will send you the information through email and you can have DocuSign. That's the way of the world. We've all figured it out. And the best way to go about it, leasing. Make sure you go to appleleasing.com today or give them a call, 512-346-9977. Our man Scott Cross had told us all he's doing is leasing cars and making friends, and he's got one in me forever. I appreciate it. Go to appleleasing.com.
All right, welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Time for a Raj rant of the day. And I saw this quote first, and I was like, I got to find the audio for this quote. And unfortunately, I did find it. And if you're an NFL fan for any team other than the Kansas City Chiefs, it's gonna be upsetting for you. Now, we know that the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes are on their way to being a dynasty. Like, they're really close. I mean, hell, if not for one of their defensive players lining up off sides.
True.
And another overtime loss to Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. They going to more Super Bowls with a chance to win more of them. All right. So even when they haven't been able to make it all the way to the Super Bowl, they've been damn close. They barely, by the hair on their chinny chin, they didn't make it. Well, Patrick Mahomes now, and one of the only, I think, one of the only hopes for everybody else in the NFL, because he's young and Andy Reid has not talked about retiring at all, and Brett Veach is also a top 3 GM in the league. All right, so you got a top 3 GM, you got the best head coach in the league, arguably best quarterback in the league right now, and some people saying a top 3 general manager in the league in Brett Veach. Scary, holy
Very
trinity
scary.
they got working right there. One of the only hopes for the rest of the NFL is that once the Kansas City Chiefs have to keep up with the Joneses and pay Patrick Mahomes his market value. Well, that will severely handicap their ability to bring in more talent around him, and therefore that can disrupt their dynastic run. Well, he was asked about contract negotiations because he's about to be at least in that window where they want to extend him again. And he was asked about being the highest paid player and asked about whether he's negotiating a contract right now. Here's the audio, but the second question, which I wanted you to pay attention to, because the second question is, do you want to be the highest paid quarterback in the league at your position? And here is the Patrick Mahomes audio.
Yeah, I mean, me and my agent and the team always keep open communication. And we try to do whatever is the best for the team, but obviously I want to do the best for myself as well. But at the same time, I've always said I worry about legacy and winning rings more than making money at this moment. But I know we keep communication. We see what's going on around the league. But at the same time, I'll never do anything that's going to hurt us from keeping the great players around me. So it's kind of teetering around that line.
So you're not driven to be the highest paid quarterback average per year. That's not.
No. It's more of you just want to do whatever to not hurt other quarterbacks whenever their contracts come up. You want to kind of keep the bar pushing. And so it's not about being the highest paid guy. It's not about making a ton of money. I've made enough money where I'll be set for the rest of my life. But at the same time, you got to find that line where you're making a good amount of money, but you're still keeping a lot of great players around you so you can win these Super Bowls and you're able to compete in these games.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Humility.
We thought, and unselfishness.
Mm-hmm.
We thought that he would be a quarterback that at least would have pride, a little bit of greed, where he would demand to be paid what he's worth, or at least demand to be the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what he's demanding. And one of the only ways that I think this dynastic run could be disrupted is they have to overpay for quarterback like everybody has to do at one point. But I don't even know if there's a way to overpay for a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes.
There is no way.
The best quarterback in the league. But now you got a guy who's willing to give you that Tim Duncan, Tom Brady discount. And Tom Brady did it with the Patriots for years. He did it with the Patriots. I went back and looked at Tom Brady. You go look at all the times he had with the Patriots where he took a discount. His cap hit rank, and this is from 2005. And I guess it go back farther than that. If you're going to go 2002, you can't. Remember, he was a 6th round pick. So,
yeah.
I mean, obviously, he had a low cap hit then. But these are his cap hits from 2002 to 2019. 31, 18, 11. 6 for the quarterback position, by the way.
Right.
31, 18, 11, 6, 1, 10, 3, 4, 1, 7, 16, 5, 11, 14, 18, 19, 11, and 12. That was his cap hit ranks among quarterbacks. And he was the GOAT for what? 10 of those, 12 of those years?
It just keep happening that way.
Unbelievable.
That he was going to be that unselfish. And everybody always talks about the fact that he has a wife that was making a lot of money, but it ain't his money. And I think he's still that guy. I think he could have had more money the latter part of his career that he walked away from. I don't think it was ever about the money. I think it was always, let's do something to make sure that we can be – I like championships, and I can't do it if I'm taking up all the bread.
Yeah, no, it's real. Like I said, it reminds me. Tim Duncan did something very similar his career as well. I mean, he took pay cuts, probably multiple pay cuts in his time.
Tom Brady did.
And Tom Brady did. Those two guys are probably the most famous of the. I'm sure it's happened before other guys have done it, but those guys did it multiple times.
No, not
throughout
when you were,
their entire team.
Yeah, and not when you were one of the best players in the league, if not the best player in the league. Right. To be stepping back to go, I could set new records for contracts, or I can make sure that I don't destroy a dynasty over like $7 million.
Yeah,
because like that's the reality of it. It's not necessarily. Oh no, it's $30 million and that's going to screw us. It's like, hey man, we just need like an extra $8 million to get this guy in and get this done and get these two guys over and renegotiate this left tackle or whatever. And because you need to be worth $52 million instead of $42 million.
Yep.
We can't do that anymore. So it's not the whole wiggle room of if you can't take $50 million, you got to take 20, but you just got to give up a little bit so that the team can function. But as he said, we're always talking. So when those situations come up, we can restructure things and push things around, and I know I'll be taken care of.
Yeah, I found this article. This is from 2013, so it was obviously a while ago. But it's about Tim Duncan. So it said last offseason, Tim Duncan was a free agent, two-time NBA Most Valuable Player, earned $21 million the previous season, and at 36 years old was ready to sign what likely would be his final contract. But instead of going for the all-in deal, demanding one last massive payday, Duncan cut his salary in half by signing a 3-year, $30 million deal. 1 year after being the third highest-paid player in the league, he knocked himself down to 61st. He was at the time making less than Richard Hamilton and Hedo Turkoglu.
Rip Hamilton.
And how many titles he won after that, Patrick? After 2013?
One more? You got one more then?
He got one more in.
Yeah, because he got the Kawhi one.
He got the Kawhi. Exactly. It is worth it. You got another one in there, man. Added to the legacy.
Playing the game the right way.
It puts him up to 5.
It's exactly. In the legacy game, all time 30, 40 years in retrospect, man, you're gonna win. You'll get way more money off of that title than you will off of that contract.
To get in that elite club of 5 championships, that's like the Kobe group and Michael Jordan and guys like that have at least 5 titles. That there's not a ton of guys that are in that.
I know. So I thought that Patrick Mahomes' superpower is that he can. No lead is safe. He's got that Category 5 kind of supernova force of nature about him in his skill set. It may be that also he's unselfish.
Yep.
He doesn't really care about that. Pride is not It's not something that is going to consume him and force him to dictate being the highest paid QB in the league and hold his team ransom every other year or so.
Right.
He's not going to do that. He's not going to be that guy. And I hate it for the rest of us NFL fans.
And for the record,
I hate it for the rest of us.
He is still being somewhat selfish.
He is
because in reality, he just goes, "I have enough money. I don't have enough wins."
Yep.
Because I want all of the wins.
I want him to want more money. I want him to watch Wall Street.
No, you want him to have less wins.
No, Gordon Gekko. I want him to go get that more money because that money in a salary cap league is going to hamstring the Kansas City Chiefs and what they can do. If he's like, no, I want to be the highest paid quarterback by $10 million because I deserve it, and he's damn right. And if he doesn't do that, they get a discount. And the Kansas City Chiefs are one team that does not need a discount.
Yeah.
No, I mean, the real thing you're looking at with Kansas City now is how much longer is Andy Reid going to stay around?
Right. That was my point.
Oh, so true. Exactly.
Because then you're like, all right, if Andy's gone, then maybe there's changes, and then maybe that Trinity is now we're down to 2, and then, okay, maybe they make some bad decisions then.
But you know what I'm worried, though, when Andy Reid does hang it up? The Chiefs are going to be able to say, who wants to play with Patrick Mahomes? Who wants to coach him? Who wants to coach the best quarterback in the league and going to be the next best quarterback in the league for the next? They're going to be able to go get a Sean McVay and a Shano. Like, they're going to be able to go any coach, they go, you know what? You want to leave that, go leave that. We will trade for you, whatever. But if you want to coach for us, we will trade and make a trade for you because it's rare that coaches are traded for. But I think the Kansas City Chiefs would do it. Because they know all they need with a Patrick Mahomes. You don't need a lot of picks. Your picks are going to suck anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're always in the Super Bowl. So trade away a pick and go get a Sean McVay.
You gotta,
go get a Shano. If I was Commissioner Goodell, I would pull a David Stern. I wouldn't let that happen.
Block it. No CP going over there, bro.
That didn't happen, man.
No.
competitive balance. What
No,
they call
you have to hire somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. You have to hire somebody. You cannot go get one of the coaches in the league already. Yeah, that to me is scary.
Yeah.
So Andy Reid,
it's ridiculous.
You got to hire Adam Gase.
That could be the only person you can hire. And I think he's been there. I think Adam Gase is a friend of Andy Reid, if I'm not mistaken.
Friend of. I don't know if he's on the coaching tree.
Let me
Friend
see.
of. That's a good point, though. Maybe, with Jeff Fisher. See if you can win with Jeff Fisher. You win a Super Bowl with
don't
Jeff
do that.
Fisher.
Yeah,
Then,
I'm not even that mean.
I would have wished that on my worst enemy.
Yeah.
And the problem is they play an extra game now, so he can't go 7-9.
That is very true. Yeah, they should make that song. They should take "Staying Alive" and they would make it 7-9. Yeah. And they would make that about Jeff Fisher. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty clever. They go, going 79, 79. Oh, it's pretty good. All right, we come back. We'll get into another off the record on the other side, right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. By now, everyone knows that my favorite tequila is Hot Cat Tequila. As a matter of fact, it is my go-to tequila. It should be your go-to tequila as well. We all know that the cat stands for cinnamon, agave, and tequila, and the recipe just as simple, just as brilliant, and just as delicious. It's just cinnamon, agave, nectar, and tequila. That's why it's so light. That's why it's so smooth. Every tequila lover's dream. And if you're not a fan of tequila, well, Hot Cat Tequila is so good, it'll turn you into a fan of tequila. As a matter of fact, you will thank me later once you become a fan of Hot Cat Tequila. It'll turn any event into a party, and every party feels like a celebration. So celebrate and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. And once you try Hot Cat, you'll never, ever go back to that old cinnamon whiskey or that cheap tequila you were ordering rounds of when you were just trying to get the party started. Turn up your party with Hot Cat Tequila. The perfect way to pregame for all the big games, concerts, festivals, or any night on the town with family and friends. It's best served cold for a quick round of shots or to sip on the rocks. So visit cattequila.com. That's cattequila.com to find a store near you that sells Hot Cat Tequila or to find a bar near you that serves Hot Cat Tequila. Toast and turn up with Hot Cat Tequila. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. New theme Thursday. Usually when Patrick takes some songs that are supposed to provide clues to Harj and I about what the new theme of the day is. We figured it out pretty quickly, as you can hear. It's a tribute to one of the queens of music and queens of rock, actually. Diva, icon, who has now passed away. R.I.P. to Tina Turner. That's what we're celebrating today for our new theme Thursday. Thanks to Patrick, who also celebrating his birthday today.
Happy birthday, PD!
So hit him up. Specs text line, give him some birthday shout-outs. 512-337-3776. Yeah, you got a lot of birthday shout-outs out here, Patrick, so the folks trying to show you some love, and we appreciate all their love on the Specs text line. Okay, let's get into this off the record here. There are a couple of stories I want to hit here. Both of them are kind of celebrity fodder. So you hear that Jay-Z and Beyonce bought a home? You guys heard this?
Straight cash, homie.
They purchased a home, 27712, that's the actual address, Pacific Coast Highway, for $200 million. Yeah, $200 million. It is the second priciest home ever listed, actually, in the United States of America.
I mean,
I'm not making that up. That's true.
I'm still trying to figure out how you have to be able to have somebody that's going to buy it from you that's got that kind of bread, though.
Yeah. It is listed as the second priciest home listed in America. Isn't that crazy?
Who has does it say who has the?
It says here, so here's the way it actually breaks down. It says dubbed as an architectural masterpiece, the home that Jay-Z and Beyonce purchased. The property is also the most expensive single-family home ever sold in the U.S., so I should say that. Even though, single-family home. What?
That's just what they call it. That's
it's
just
like,
what they
whoa,
call it.
Excuse me? Single family home? How big is his family? I mean, good Lord. Okay, yeah, so it is the second most expensive single family home ever sold in the U.S. The most expensive, that undergoes to a Midtown Manhattan condo owned by hedge fund billionaire Ken Griffin, who set the record 4 years ago when he bought it for $239 million, guys. He bought a condo. I gotta imagine it's probably like 4 stories of a building, though.
It's gotta
4 or
be.
5 stories of a building or something like that. Crazy.
Man,
That is a lot of straight cash.
I just don't need all that.
Yeah. This guy, he holds the record for the biggest real estate purchase, $239 million. His sprawling penthouse in Manhattan at 220 Central Park South, 24,000 square feet, gentlemen.
24,000.
It comes with an athletic club, a juice bar, a squash court, and a golf simulator. It's pretty nice. An indoor pool in that joint.
Man, you got. Man, it must be nice.
What?
Hey, must be nice.
Must be nice to be able to buy a $239 million house. Yeah.
Must be nice.
And Beyonce's not officially a billionaire either, is she? Not officially. I mean, I guess she's
Wait,
probably.
they don't got a joint checking account? they got a joint?
I'm by the way, my checking and my savings and my checking.
Jay-Z's in the billionaire category, so I was just wondering about that. I always find it fascinating that, I talked about this with sports before, how, the NBA has produced multiple billionaires already. The NFL has no shot at producing anytime soon. Tom Brady may be the closest.
He might be
Since
the closest.
now he's going to be minority ownership. We know he's made a lot of money. And we talked about how Major League Baseball, they should have somebody in that club already. It's a damn shame they do not. That's old money. Guaranteed money.
Yeah.
So the NBA shouldn't have surpassed that, but I guess because it's about marketability, NBA players are more internationally marketed than, and not that it's more of an international sport because baseball's international too,
right.
But they're more widely marketed and better marketed, more effectively marketed, I should say, than Major League Baseball players. That's probably one of the biggest indictments on Major League Baseball and one of the biggest examples of their shortcomings in that category is that how have y'all not produced a billionaire yet?
Because we greedy.
I mean, NBA got 2 already.
Well, they're definitely marketable.
That's what I'm
saying.
Like,
Baseball
should
had
be
done their cycle yet.
and like baseball, I don't know the shoe deals are quite the same
That's also
because
true.
They're not.
you wear cleats, not shoes, so you can't buy sneakers. So you can get a massive shoe deal in basketball.
Yeah,
because
unlike
more
other
people
sports.
will buy your shoes and walk around in them.
Yeah.
Can't walk around in cleats.
And I wanted to also ask a question about comparing that to different genres of music. Like hip hop has already made 2 billionaires.
Yeah.
It's already created 2 billionaires. Kanye started there. Jay-Z started there. Hell, Rihanna, I don't know, she's not considered hip-hop. She's more pop. But it's interesting that a lot of other genres have been around longer or haven't created more billionaires.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it depends, because you got to own songwriting. You got to own.
I think that's a bit the masters and all that, right?
Yeah.
That's like a new thing where people want to own their own masters.
Well, I'm hearing a lot of people trying to sell their catalogs nowadays. That they're starting to make a lot of money from that.
That's how you
right?
get liquid. If you're like, look, I ain't gonna live that much longer.
Yeah.
And if I try and bequeath my catalog onto my children, they will screw it up.
Right.
Because they're gonna be greedy and they're gonna fight over it, and then they're gonna be like, "No, take it offline."
Legal fees on
and then they're just like, "Let me sell to these guys, and I'll just give them the money, and then I don't got to worry about it anymore."
Yeah.
Yeah, something like rock and roll. I'm sure rock and roll has created some billionaires, but you would think there'd be more.
Right.
Yeah,
because I can't think of a ton on top of my
They
head.
live off the chain too.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole thing with rock and roll is your billionaire to drug addict ratio is going to be pretty heavy on the drug addict.
That's what I'm saying. Like they end up
that drug addict alcoholic is going to be a little bit heavier than billionaire.
And those record companies a lot back then, they were basically hustling a lot of the artists back then. Like we just found out how artists have kind of taken ownership of their own career paths and those masters and everything like that. So maybe that's a relatively new thing, but it's interesting. It's just an interesting conversation to have about that wealth.
No
that
doubt.
Sports can create.
No, you get guys like Gene Simmons and Paul McCartney.
Right, Paul McCartney's got to be close.
Yeah, he's got to be.
He's got to be right in there. I mean,
because
right
he owns
he
most of the Beatles
He
stuff.
owns all of the Beatles, right?
And I imagine if guys like Michael Jackson hadn't passed away and then hadn't got into a lot of away from music issues.
Yep.
He would have been
an
there
amusement
too.
park.
Yeah. He did. He actually did.
Was it Never Never Land?
It was Never Never Land.
Yeah.
I would never go to Never Never Land.
Never ever?
Never ever.
Never ever ever.
All right, we come back. 6 o'clock hour. We'll preview Boston and Miami tonight right here on Ball Don't Lie 104.9 The Horn.
Nothing like hearing my man Craig Way give us the description of how much he loves it. You know what I'm saying? But this is Mike Harge, and I want to talk to you about my friends over at the League Kitchen and Tavern. You know what today is? It's Prime to Wine. That's right. Tonight you can get a slow-roasted whole ribeye served with the rosemary au jus. Get over there and enjoy it with some wine. It's all dine-in, so make sure you go over there. And if you want to look at the monthly specials or even check out the menu, all you have to go to is leaguekitchen.com. They got 4 area Austin locations: Belterra, Lakeway, Bee Cave, and my favorite is Avery Ranch. That's right, I go in there quite often and say hi. I want to be like Norm in there every once in a while. And of course, it is the burger of the month of May is the Santa Fe burger. You can have the cocktail of the month. It's the prickly pear. Whether you want to dine in or take out, make sure you go over to leaguekitchen.com. That is leaguekitchen.com.
Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. New theme Thursday, as you can hear. The new theme is all about paying tribute to an icon that passed away yesterday at 83, Tina Turner. Thanks to my man Patrick, who usually plays songs for us on a new theme Thursday. They're supposed to give us clues and hints that lead us to the new theme of the day. And today it's all about paying tribute to an icon, a diva, one of the queens of rock and roll, and that is Tina Turner. All right, we'll get to some conversation about the NIL rule, the NIL law, I should say. There's an NIL rule, but the NIL law trumps the rule. So we'll get to a discussion about the Texas legislators and lawmakers who are proposing a new NIL law. Also, let's not forget, Patrick's birthday is today.
That's right.
We're celebrating Patrick's B-Day today. He's actually turning 39 years old. Woo!
Big time player.
39. Was 39 birthday? Was it a good birthday for you, 39, Harge? I think 39 was good for me. 39 was pretty good for me.
It was great because I don't remember it.
That is true. That's a good point. If you don't remember your birthday and nothing bad happened, everybody was safe, it was a great damn birthday.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you on that. Yeah, 39 was good for me because I think I accepted that, hey, I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
The big 4 always here. You know what I mean?
It's there, man.
There's no need to be anxious
Nothing
about
changes,
it.
Bro.
No need to be upset about it or anxious. It's there. And you know what? I'm fine with it.
There it is.
I'm fine with it.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
You better get fine with it. It's coming.
Because it's going to be there.
It's going to be there.
You don't want the alternative. Come on, bring it.
Yeah, that is true.
You know
Amen
what
to
I'm
that,
saying?
brother. So we are happy for my man Patrick. Happy B-Day, Tim. You can wish him a happy birthday as well on the Specs text line, 512-337-3776. You also can do it via the Twitterverse. It's Patrick Davis for Patrick. Hardball Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse, and I'm at Rod Babers in the Twitterverse. All right, gentlemen. Hopefully, or I guess if you are a Miami Heat or a Boston Celtics fan, you're hoping that your team is celebrating tonight too, like Patrick's going to be celebrating regardless because it's his B-Day. But right now, I believe the Vegas odds favor the Boston Celtics. I guess Vegas thinks that Boston's going to go out here today with more the desperation factor, I should say. And that's going to help them win Game 5. Here's a great stat. I found this. I mentioned this earlier. Because obviously at one point this series was 3-0 and the Miami Heat were up 3-0 on the Boston Celtics. Now it's a 3-1 series and we're previewing Game 5. But of the 150 teams prior to this postseason, the 150 teams, or actually prior to this Eastern Conference series, I think the Lakers are counted in this too. Of the 150 teams that were down 3-0, 126 of them, that's 84%, gentlemen, had a worse record than their opponents, meaning the team that is, usually the team that is down 3-0 is they're a team that is subpar. All right, they're a team that during the regular season had a worse record than the team that is leading the series at the time when they're up 3-0. The 13 games that the Celtics won, that is the difference between their record and the Miami Heat record, that is the largest differential for the 126 teams, or 150 teams, I should say, that there have been who have been down 3-0. So no team that has been down 3-0 has won more games than their opponent in the playoffs when they're down 3-0 than the Celtics. It's the biggest differential we've ever seen in the playoffs. So, yes, it is unprecedented. Also, it is the third largest difference in win percentage for the team down 3-0 and the team that is up 3-0 based on their regular season winning percentage. So, yeah, we haven't seen a team that is one that as good as the Celtics were in the regular season be down 3-0.
Yeah. And those are great numbers. They finna lose tonight.
Okay.
It is over for Boston.
Done deal.
I love the way that they went out there and they played hard and they gave us one more fight. That's what I wanted LeBron and them to do. I wanted one more night to watch them fight. But you know what? It was over. Now I'm sitting here looking at how this Boston team, all of a sudden, how are they going to turn it on? Nope, you gave the numbers. Don't happen where you come back from 3 down to try to come in there and make a run for it. They had a great game by Robert Williams. Grant Williams is thick, and he's out there. He's making it tough. Derek White went out there and played well. But the thing that I keep looking at, and Marcus Smart, I'll give him a little bit of love. But the thing that I keep looking at is when it comes down to that pressure moment, Jason Tatum is still trying to be that guy. Finally, because remember the shots in the fourth quarter, he wasn't even taking them.
That's true.
But now he's trying to do a little bit too much. So I want to see what happens if Jimmy tries to take it away from him late in the game. Is he going to be willing to kick it off to a Jaylen Brown? Is he going to be willing to make that pass to a Marcus Smart? So we'll see how that plays out. But I think it's over.
Jason Tatum, games 1 and 2, he combined for 11 points in the fourth quarter on 0 of 3 shooting with 5 turnovers. Actually, he had in games 1 and 2, he had more turnovers than shot attempts in the fourth quarter. That changed in game 4, 11 total points in the fourth quarter. So he actually tied his total combined for games 1 and 2 in the fourth quarter. And he was 5 of 7 with 0 turnovers. So in money time, Jason Tatum was money. But he's got to be more aggressive, and he's got to put the team on his back in that clutch time down this late stretch of the game in the fourth quarter. If he doesn't do that, they got no shot to win. Game 4, 34 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 blocks. That's the Jason Tatum they need to show up. If he doesn't show up, they got no chance.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that was the one that I kept saying. If your idol is Kobe and you talk about Michael Jordan, your mentality has to be like those guys. Mamba was not going to let you not going to shoot 4 shots. I might shoot 4 shots in 30 seconds.
Yeah, he might.
He might go
Even
out
if
there.
I miss him all,
yeah, I'm still shooting my shot. And that was huge part of what his success was the other night. But again, let's see exactly how they're wanting to do it. We talked about how the Celtics were sitting there and Jimmy Butler going up to Boston and wanting to beat them in Boston. Let me go ahead and silence that crowd.
You know he do.
He's going to try to go for 60 tonight. I'm looking at it. I wanted LeBron to go for it the other night. I think Jimmy tries to go for it tonight. I think he tries to put this team on the back so they can relax and have some time off before they have to go and play in Denver.
First 2 rounds, Jimmy Butler's isolation instances, or isolation plays, were at 8.3 per game in rounds 1 through 2. Now his isolation plays per game. He's at 18.3 now versus Boston. He's had double the amount of isolation attempts that Brown and Tatum combined. So he's actually been really good in those isolation attempts, averaging 1.06 points per ISO attempt versus Boston. But in the first 2 rounds, it was 1.16. But in game 4, isolation attempts, isolation possessions, I should say, by Jimmy Butler only averaged 0.76 points per ISO possession. So the game 4 was kind of the key. He was not as effective in isolation in game 4. And the other huge factor and data point is 3-point shooting, gentlemen. 3-point shooting in this series has been unbelievably erratic and unpredictable, because the Miami Heat, who shot 27% from 3-point range in the regular season, and without their best 3-point shooter, Tyler Hero, in this series, they've had some of the best 3-point shooting in playoff history. I'll give you a stat. So prior to this Eastern Conference series between Miami and Boston, only 13 teams, ever had been able to convert over 50% of their 3-point shots in the Eastern Conference Finals, and that's at least 20 attempts. So only 13 teams had ever hit over 50% of their 3-pointers in the conference finals. The Miami Heat have done it twice in this series. They did in games 1 and 3. They were shooting prior to game 4 48%, 47.8 exact, 47.8% from 3-point range, which is highly unsustainable. And then they dropped off a cliff in game 4. They were only 8 of 32. And then the script flipped because Boston, who had been terrible from 3-point range, shooting 29% from 3-point range in the first 3 games, they went 40% from 3-point range, 18 of 45 in game 4. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious, gentlemen. You can follow the 3-point percentage and efficiency. Whoever is hot from 3-point range in this game, that's probably who's going to win this game based on the recent games and matchups in this series.
And the fact, too, you start looking at it, this is an 8-point line. If you look at those types of things, this is an 8-point line, 8.5-point line. How is Boston favored, even with some of the things that you just brought up, even the way that they've been playing? How are they favored by that much?
Desperation. I think because everybody assumes that that Boston's going to be more desperate than Miami.
Yeah.
And I mean, we still see people. There's a lot of people that basically are looking at the series and going, "How is Boston even down 3-0?"
Down 3-0.
They're remarkably more talented.
Rod just gave the numbers.
I mean, they are remarkably more talented than this Miami team. Of if you were a scout and you were going and you were drafting this team,
right?
I mean, Jimmy Butler's the second player taken, and then we drop to like Bam Adebayo's probably the fourth or fifth player taken, and then then it's like 7 more Celtics.
Agreed.
Yeah, and so there's just not the level of what you would expect to have the talent there. So when people are looking at it, they're like, well, it has to be. Celtics have to be able to turn this around, but you're not taking into account that I don't think the coaching is pretty swayed one side, and then it just seems that the heart is not there in this Celtics team. It doesn't seem like they have an on-the-court leader. As much as Tatum wants to be Kobe, he's not that guy.
No.
And you can tell because he is not going up to Jaylen Brown and being like, dude, if you ever come down that court again and run to the other side of it that I'm standing on and don't look at me, I'm going to punch you in the face.
That's what
I'm
Kobe would
going to
do.
re-break your face.
That is what Kobe would do.
That's what Black Mamba
You are
would
not
do.
allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, you be benched, they'll cut you, you're out. You're done. You can't do that anymore.
Jimmy would do it too.
Oh,
And Jimmy do it. Well, yeah. Well, no one's even going to try with
Yeah,
Jimmy.
exactly. You better not try with Jimmy. But I agree with you on that because Boston, like I said, I just gave the number that, the Celtics in the regular season, they won 13 more games than the Miami Heat. That is a large differential for any team that is been in a 3-0 series in the playoffs. So they've proven to be, at least in the regular season, a much better team than the Miami Heat. But this is a different Miami Heat team than anybody saw in the regular season. And by the way, Boston's had double-digit leads in 3 of these games.
Mm-hmm.
They've had double-digit leads in 3 of the 4 games.
Well, yeah.
That's what I think about. So they actually have had chances to have command of the game. They can't stop Jimmy when Jimmy gets in the zone. And when playoff Jimmy becomes Hemi, they have no answer for him.
That's why I believe he's going to be Hemi tonight. And he's going to try to go for a 60-piece. He's going to go for a 60-piece. He wants to leave no doubt.
Is he going to be singing Tim McGraw?
Oh, he's going to say, I'm taking your girl. That's what he's saying.
Don't take the girl.
He's like, I'm taking your girl. That's exactly right. Yeah.
We found out earlier in the show, in case you missed it off the record, go check it out once we podcast the show, that Jimmy Butler, huge country music fan, and he became a country music fan ironically. That he didn't mean to become a country music fan. He was trying to taunt and troll his teammates, end up liking the music he was trolling them with, and now he's making a country music album. I BS you not.
That's right.
Crazy.
He said he a writer.
He said, yeah.
He's a writer.
We got to find out who's writing his music, too.
Or he's writing it. I think he's writing the music.
Oh, man. Jimmy Butler.
Well, is he writing the music or is he writing the lyrics?
He's definitely not. I don't know
show.
if he's a music guy like that.
Yeah.
Patrick is the one writing the music.
Hey, well, you know what? There's been a lot of Jimmy Butler is getting he's getting the Chuck Norris treatment lately. They're starting to make those jokes about Jimmy saying his daddy's Michael Jordan and stuff like that.
We're gonna find out. That's why we need him to win.
In this game, if he goes for 60, has an epic performance in this game, I will come tomorrow with Jimmy Butler Chuck Norris jokes. I will have them ready to go. All right, we have nothing but Jimmy Butler, Chuck Norris like jokes tomorrow.
I like it.
For Jimmy Butler to honor Jimmy because he is a Texan.
He definitely is.
And I'll tell you right now,
Tom Ball, baby.
I'm rooting for Jimmy Butler to go to the finals. I think they are going to go because they were up 3-0, and we know that no team has ever come back from 3-0, but Boston's trying to make it interesting. I'm rooting for Jimmy to make it to the finals, and when he gets to the finals, I'm rooting and I'm picking Miami. I know that Denver's a better team, but it's going to be more fun for me to root for Jimmy and fun if Jimmy actually wins the title because he's going to be probably some people will call it insufferable, but he's going to be so entertaining.
I'm definitely in for the entertainment value for sure.
He trolls people now without a ring.
Mm-hmm.
You imagine when Jimmy Butler gets a ring, how he's going to troll the rest of the NBA? He is going to go on an epic troll tour. He's going to troll everybody. And
all them players that he ran out of there.
Man. He's got,
all the teams he used to be with.
Right, he's got beef for 7-8 players in the league currently.
And like Minnesota he hates and Philadelphia he hates.
Yeah.
He hates teams and
he
players.
hates Tobias Harris. He's for sure going to troll him because of the fact that every team Tobias Harris was on, they kept him instead of Jimmy.
And if Jimmy wins, he's going to be feeling himself a lot. So he's probably going to want to perform his country music song. He might do it on one of those late night talk shows.
I'm all in for it.
That's going to go viral. We'll have some fun with that. I just think he's going to provide us with way more material.
He's going to do a duet with Tim McGraw.
Oh, Tim McGraw duet?
Yeah.
That's going to happen.
That's what's going to happen.
I see that happening too.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We're going to dive deeper into the Jimmy Butler, Michael Jordan conspiracy theory.
Oh, 1,000%.
He's going to give us a little something on that.
Is he going to do a duet with Michael Jordan?
That would set Twitter would break. Twitter would.
He's gonna have to do a paternity test.
Twitter would break down if Jimmy Butler and MJ got together.
He did a country song, and then Maury Povich read the results. And come on, let's make it happen.
That would be great. Bring Maury Povich out of retirement.
Yeah.
You are not the father.
That's right.
That'd be a great skit, though. I wonder if MJ be down to do the skit.
Oh, that's got to be.
You can do a skit. You can do a skit.
They ain't even got to. They can Saturday Night Live will do the skit.
Saturday Night Live.
I'll tell you how we get
Jimmy Butler on Saturday Night Live.
I will tell you how we get Michael to do it. We bet him that he's the father.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, that was fantastic. You damn right.
Because he will be all in for that bet.
Oh, that just hurt my stomach a little bit. That was
Actually,
good.
Mike might be over there going, hold up. I don't want to play this game. I don't want to play this game.
It is funny because it's so true. That is definitely how you do it. I like your suggestions too, though, Harch. Because he definitely would do SNL if he wins. He's going to be Finals MVP if they win. He's going to go on SNL, and they're going to be looking for material, and they would do the MJ bit.
All the way.
They would take it from
and
social media.
And they would make it more important, sure.
Yeah, and then MJ would go on
for
if
sure.
it's SNL. Okay, guys, we're doing it.
We got it.
I like it.
Set it up.
See, this is why Jimmy Butler will be more fun winning as a champion than Jokic. I love Jokic, but come on, Jokic is not going to be fun as a champion.
Because his personality.
He's going to take that ring and he's going to take that trophy and go right to his crib and start training and working out again. Eating some ice cream or something. Post a couple of TikTok videos, and that's all we'll get.
I'm with you.
That's it.
It's got to be him.
Come on, man.
It's got to be him,
dog. He was going to go off.
I'm with you on that.
Come on,
It's got to be him.
All right, that's what I'm rooting for. All right, we come back. We'll talk about the Texas legislators. Lawmakers are proposing a new NIL law that will give Texas unprecedented advantages in the new NIL arms race. We'll discuss it when we come back right here on Ball Don't Lie, 104.9 The Horn. Hey, what's up, folks? Lifetime Longhorn Rod Babers here. We know Austin is a beautiful city. That's why we all call it home. But one of the things that attracts us to Austin is the unique aesthetic appeal. And one of the things that has made that aesthetic appeal so unique is the creativity of the skilled craftsmanship of Ironworkers Local Union 482. They've been helping shape our great city since 1935. That's a really, really long time. And you see the labors of their love all the time in exquisite, iconic landmarks like DeKalb Stadium and the Pennybacker Bridge. And if you right now are thinking about a new career, you want something new, something fresh, you're thinking about a new way to challenge yourself, how about becoming a member, a valued member of Ironworkers Local Union 482? You can accept the challenge of becoming the best version of yourself while helping shape our city's economic development. Ironworkers Local 482 don't go to the office, they build it. And right now they're hiring over 3,000 people to help them build it. Right now you can be a member of Ironworkers Local 482 and be one of these lucky 3,000 people. They got a huge project happening right here in Central Texas, and they want you to be a part of it. You can take pride in the type of teamwork and craftsmanship that helps shape the future of our great city. So maximize your potential and be your best self today. Simply apply at ironworkers482.org. That's ironworkers482.org. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. It is a new theme Thursday, and we're paying homage, a tribute to one of the great music icons of her day, Tina Turner, who passed away yesterday at the age of 83. So my man Patrick thought it was appropriate, and we agree to make New Theme Thursday all about a tribute to the icon. So thanks to my man Patrick, and also happy B-Day to my man Patrick, celebrating his birthday today. So wish him a happy birthday on the Specs text line, if you please. 512-337-3776. You also can hit him up via Twitter at It's Patrick Davis in the Twitterverse. Wish him a happy birthday there as well. You can hit us up too. I'm at Rod Davis in the Twitterverse. And my man Harge is at Hardball Harge in the Twitterverse. Okay, you guys heard of House Bill 2804?
It's the new one, right?
This is a new NIL proposal by Texas legislators, an addendum to the bill. A part of this bill essentially states, and like I said, there's a lot of legalese in here, terminology that's really fancy, but essentially there's an addendum in the bill that states that the NCAA, the SEC, the Big 12, or any other entity shall not penalize a Texas university for entering into an NIL deal, which basically gives them immunity. If there is some rule broken, the NCAA or the Big 12 decides, we want to go after these Texas institutions for breaking some NIL rule, essentially this new addendum would give them a cover for that. Here's the actual language in it. It says, an athletic association, an athletic conference, or any other group or organization with authority over an intercollegiate athletic program at an institution to which this section applies may not enforce a contract term, a rule, a regulation, a standard, or any other requirement that prohibits the institution from participating in the intercollegiate athletics or otherwise penalize the institution or the institution's intercollegiate athletics program for performing, participating in, or allowing an activity required or authorized by this section. Damn, that's a lot of cover, guys.
There's a lot.
If you're a lawyer, they give you a lot of room to work with all that legalese thrown in there. But essentially, what they're saying is, if you are an entity in authority in intercollegiate athletics, Big 12, NCAA, they make up some new institution and give them a name and give them a commissioner. You can't touch these Texas schools.
Yeah.
For participating in NIL, and no matter in which manner they participate in, if they break one of your laws for your state, that is your state law, and you cannot touch them based on the Texas state law.
Yeah, this is the thing that just kind of that's the answer right there.
It's wild.
It's wild, and it's to the point now where this has become so outlandish, and it's not even fun right now.
It was fun if you're a Texas school. Texas A&M is fun.
That's what 1,000%. But it's like now you're changing the game so much that you're putting this into the law to where no one can go and look at your records, basically. Right? Isn't that what that's saying?
It's basically saying that if they do find some discrepancy, something they deem as outside of the rules, that they basically can't necessarily punish Texas or say any other institution in the state of school. Yeah, based on this new addendum to the law.
The NCAA cannot, right? They can't come in.
Big 12,
they can't do anything.
SEC doesn't matter. Any entity in authority over NCAA rules or any intercollegiate sports would not have authority over these state schools. What they're saying is when it comes to NIL, the state of Texas will have the ultimate authority. That's it. Right. Unless Uncle Sam, all right, and a federal government, they can step in. They do trump state law in this case.
Okay.
They would. That federal law would trump the state law in this case. But there is no federal NIL law.
Yep.
There is not one. And we don't think there's going to be one anytime soon, but there could be. I mean, I think right now the NCAA is pushing for Capitol Hill to enact some type of legislation.
Yeah.
And I believe what they want is, I've read about this, they basically want a clearinghouse
Which was in place before.
I know, but we had the NCAA in charge of it, and we don't want the NCAA involved. So basically, they want a clearinghouse, almost a new organizational structure.
Change a couple of numbers or change a couple of words.
Change the name, whatever you want to do. But the NCAA is working hard at lobbying Congress to pass an overarching NIL bill that would supersede the NIL bills on obviously state to state. Last week, Senator Lindsey Graham drafted a bill that would establish a parallel organization to the NCAA that would serve as an NIL clearinghouse. Quote, the NIL clearinghouse shall carry out enforcement actions for any violation of this act, including by levying fines, imposing penalties, including suspension or a permanent ban of an individual or entity from participation in varsity intercollegiate sports competition for a period determined by the NIL clearinghouse, and commencing civil actions and seeking all appropriate legal, equitable, or other relief, including damages and injunctions. So essentially saying they want to establish a new organization that's a clearinghouse that just handles NIL. That's it. Takes that out of the hands of the NCAA. And I believe the NCAA is supporting this idea. But I think the states, individual states, they want this loophole. They want these laws to have loopholes, and they want these laws to be as gray as possible, because that gives their state universities a lot of power and advantages in the NIL arms race, NIL landscape. So every state is just changing their law to make their laws, the NIL laws, looser, so that there's more wiggle room for the universities to be able to, make some of these moves and give them freedom in how they operate in the NIL world. So
go ahead, Texas, do it first, and then we're going to take it and do it in all of our areas as well.
Exactly. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yep.
And if Texas does this, and that's exactly what will go down. And also another part of, I believe one thing they're also working on with this new bill would be a way for boosters and donors who are donating to NIL, which would be the Texas One Fund. I heard E. Hogan talking about this. It would allow them to accumulate points toward perks, which they do that anyway with
Longhorn Foundation.
Longhorn Foundation, thank you. They do that anyway with that, but they basically would apply that model to NIL. So if you donate to Texas One Fund and say you want to give money to baseball or volleyball, whatever, you would now get points as kind of a Longhorn Foundation member, but as a Longhorn booster to the NIL, you would get perks as a part of that. So that's also part of the new law and legislation. So, and I believe they say it's gonna pass.
Yeah.
They said it's on Governor Abbott's desk. It's expected to quickly land on his desk, and they said it's assumed that it'll pass. And he'll sign it. So.
And again, that's another level of zaniness that will be added to the already confusing situation for most people when it comes to whatever collective that they have at their school. Yeah. Very confusing.
The collectives, which are a group of boosters and donors who are deciding to pool their money, and also there are directives, which are just sugar daddies or sugar mamas, who are just single billionaires, single millionaires who are deciding that they are going to fund NIL and fund some of these NIL movements, if you will. They're going to fund them on their own. So you got directives and you got collectives. Texas has both. And by the way, I said for a long time that Texas boosters, they all told me, BMD, shout out to y'all, BMDs, they all told me that Texas wanted to be the NIL capital of college sports. At the University of Texas, that was their goal. Well, based on the CEO of Open Doors, which is a Nebraska-based company that created an online platform to pay college athletes for promotion, and they've been tracking hundreds of millions and hundreds of thousands of transactions, and millions of dollars of transactions, I should say. They claim, I believe the guy is Blake Lawrence, who is the president of this company. He said, analyzing the first 20 months of NIL, Texas athletics is number one in the country in our data set when it comes to NIL compensation for student athletes. Texas has done a tremendous job of preparing for the NIL era, and from day one have been able to help their athletes make the most of their opportunity. So
that's
Texas,
what they want.
Yeah, Texas is leading the way here. And don't forget, and not with all the sports you think they would be leading the way with. And we talked about this, baseball, 10th on the 40 acres
Awful.
in NIL revenue generated. from sport to sport. Talking about a blue blood that's 10th.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that explains why they're 2 in barbecue, y'all. They need some help.
Oh, hey.
Just saying they need some help.
Run me my money.
I'm just saying they need a little help.
They do need a little bit of help.
2 in barbecue. Maybe they need y'all to, pony up.
Yeah.
Little straight cash homie.
I like that.
For Texas
Talk
baseball.
to 'em.
All right. Well, they all need a little straight cash homie. But there you go. So they are changing the NIL rule. Looks like it'll change, I don't know, sometime in 2023. And that's the case. Everybody, as Hart said, will follow that example. And sooner or later, Uncle Sam, and maybe it's happening as we speak, but sooner or later, Uncle Sam's going to have to attack the NIL and come up with a federal law, because right now it is the wild, wild west, and that's just the way they want it. They want it. The system is operating just as intended.
Right.
You're like, NIL's a mess. It's crazy. That's exactly what they want. They do. They want
is
it.
exactly how I wanted to play
also
out.
want this? The NCAA. Because the NCAA wants it to be the wild, wild west, so that you, the spectator and fan, complain about it so much and go, man, I miss when the NCAA was in control of all this stuff. The NCAA had it right. We should have never given them this much freedom and this much money. The free market in college sports, that's insane. That's crazy. Don't go that route. The NCAA, borderline criminal syndicate. Everybody knows it. Even the Supreme Court called them out.
Yep.
Supreme Court called them out and said, man, y'all are wrong. Y'all are shady. I'm paraphrasing. But they basically said that.
Phrasing.
Yeah, they said that. That's why the NCAA won't go to court anymore.
Yeah.
They won't go to court because no court will let them win.
Yep.
If it goes all the way to the Supreme Court already told them, bring me more cases about the NCAA, and I will rule against them. That's why NCAA they like hands off, no litigation. They don't want to touch litigation right now. They need Uncle Sam to come to their rescue. And if Uncle Sam don't come to their rescue, they got no power. They've been, right now, I think they are losing power at a rapid rate. And at this point, I'm not saying they're powerless, but who respects the NCAA?
Yeah, it's getting
Nobody listens
flipped
to
quick.
them.
It's getting flipped quick.
That's why everybody keeps transferring. Usually NCAA will put a kibosh on transfers. Whoa, son, you need to be approved. They're not approving anybody anymore. Guys just transferring.
Clearinghouse.
They just go where they want to go. How many years you got? I don't know how many I want. You know what I mean? The NCAA doesn't care anymore because they have no power. They've been usurped. All right, we come back. We'll get into us. We won't. We'll say goodnight to you guys. We'll wrap it up and put it in Evan right here on Ball Don't Lie 104.9 The Horn. Welcome back to Ball Don't Lie right here on 104.9 The Horn. Time to wrap it up and put it in the oven. We'll let you know what's on tap before we get out of here. If you missed any part of any of the shows, please go to hornfm.com. You can catch up with them on the podcast page. Coming up next, we do have a Longhorn Blitz with my man Jeff Howe, Matt Butler, and myself. So you'll catch that coming up next. And then after that, Instant Serious with the birthday boy, Patrick Davis. What y'all talking about?
Talking about a lot of NBA, the playoffs, a little NFL, maybe a little fantasy football, things of that nature.
Oh, getting into the fantasy vibe. I like that.
Never too early to talk fantasy football. All right, so Instant Series coming up at 8 right after Longhorn Blitz. All right, Patrick, Harch, what's on tap for you?
I'm going to watch the basketball game tonight and go ahead and send them Boston Celtics packing.
Yeah.
They gone fishing.
Yeah, going fishing. Birthday boy, Patrick Davis, what's on tap for you, brother?
To go check out my boys, Blackheart Saints. They're opening up for King's X.
Nice.
So I'm going to go check out that show. It's going to be a lot of fun. And thank you to everybody on the text line today for happy birthday wishes. I really do appreciate it.
Hey, what's your Cash App?
What's my Cash App?
Yeah, that way people hit you. That way people hit you up, dog. Tell them you had to buy a drink for your boy tonight.
I'm going to get a lot of requests. Hey, man, your take cost me money in my bet. Send me that money.
All right, happy birthday to Patrick. Thank you guys for all the other kind birthday wishes for Patrick and all your participation on the Specs text line. Remember, the revolution will not be televised. We'll be talking about it right here on Ball Don't Lie. We love you guys. We mean that. Take care of yourselves, but more importantly, take care of each other. Peace.